Righto, we are here today doing the Motocross Companion. It's a bit of a late one, but we had reason to wait because we had a couple Aussie pinners, Jesse Dobson, Nathan Crawford, have made the trip up from the sunny coast to jump on the potty with us, boys. What's happening?
No, not a lot. Thanks for having us.
Did you enjoy your first Wahoo's feed?
Yeah, it wasn't bad, eh? It was fucking pretty interesting. Been meaning to go there for ages, and I always see Harry and everyone there, so yeah, it was good.
You've been there before, eh?
Yeah, definitely not my first rodeo down there.
Yeah, that's sick. All right, so we, you guys sort of know what we do here. We just kind of just try and like re-look at some of the stuff from the past round. So obviously we just had Colorado. We just had the first moto on because you boys do you follow it like a lot? Like you were saying you don't follow it as much.
I follow it, but like I always look at the results and lap times and different things like that because I'm always interested. But like, yeah, I never ever sit there and just watch a 30-minute moto. We do 30s at the track, so the last thing I want to do is really go home and then watch another 30-minute moto. So, but yeah, like I follow it, and you know, NATO does as well, I guess. But yeah, I never sit there and watch a full moto though. No way.
Do you just watch Supercross more than motocross out of curiosity?
Yeah, I think I'll probably maybe watch. I'll watch one of the 250 motos, and I'll watch one of the 450 motos in the motocross. But Supercross definitely easier to follow. You know, it's a little bit more interesting as well, I reckon.
It's a bit more dramatic too. Like when we were doing this show for the Supercross stuff, it just was so easy to talk about.
Yeah,
shit, you know,
there's
like,
just that much going on all the time.
Just more storylines and stuff to follow. But with that being said, like I feel like I always still enjoy when it goes outdoors.
Yeah, outdoors is sick. Like I reckon the grind for outdoors, and you know, there's only so much Supercross that you can watch. You know, the whips start getting a bit old and everything like that. You get a bit sick of it, and you do there's so many laps. But motocross, it's always changing and stuff like that. So it's exciting, and it's because what we do all year long. So it's kind of like we get to compare a little bit more. But yeah, I think Supercross is probably a little bit more interesting because it's like even when we race it, there's so much that goes on. Like it's so gnarly and intense, and like there's that much. Like what will happen in one lap of Supercross maybe happens over like 15-20 minutes of motocross. Like it's so different. But
so what kind of stuff, like the way the bike's moving, like moments, or like people running in on you?
Battles or moments or whatever it is, or you know, that you might have that. You might swap positions 3 times in one lap in Supercross, and that could happen like in 5 laps in a row, where motocross, you know, that's very rarely we're swapping backwards and forth that much. It's kind of like more of a chess match, I'd say, with motocross. You know, you kind of wait, you got more time, you pick your spots. So it's kind of, I guess that's where motocross can get a little, you know, not as interesting as Supercross probably, I guess. Well, that's what I find anyway.
Has it been better now that we've got Hunter, and then we've got Dean, we had Todd over there, we had Wilson that did those couple of rounds? Like, is that what makes you guys pay a little bit more attention as dudes that race here?
Yeah, for me, definitely. Like, because we're racing Wilson here at the moment this year. Yeah. Like watching how he goes when he goes over there, it's definitely like, you know, we can compare ourselves a little more. Yeah. Where Hunter's been in Europe now for a bit, and then he's gone to America now, so it's like it's harder to, you know, to see where we'd fit in. Yeah. But now that Wilson's there, and you know, like I've been racing him this year so far, and you know, even just all us guys in the 250 class can just see maybe where we would fit in to that group. So it's pretty cool, and I definitely think I follow it a lot more now. With there's a lot of Aussies in the group at the moment, so it's pretty cool to see. Yeah, it's been sick to like get up and like want to see how dudes are doing, and especially like, did you catch Hunter in the second moto at Parla? Did you see that?
I think everyone kind of saw it. I think like we were all watching that, but
like, he was the fastest dude. Like he left AC.
Yeah, AC's
the fastest other than, like,
he's the big dog. So that was pretty crazy to see. It would have been awesome to see if Hunter, if he didn't crash, how that moto would have panned out between the two of them, or whether Hunter was going to leave him. Like, it would have been pretty cool to see what happened there.
Well, the laps before, dude, like Hunter looked so good and he looked so in control. Like, he didn't look like he was going out of control to like pull that gap up on Adam. He looked really good doing it.
He was solid in that moto. Like, I watch it and I look at technique and stuff and I compare a lot with other riders, and he rode solid in that moto.
He looked technical. You're right.
He had it, like, he just had the track figured out and he had it dialed, and it was just some days you get to a point where you're so comfortable doing that speed and everything's clicking, and it was just clicking. Like, that's how it looked. It just, he felt, it looked like he was so comfortable doing that speed, and it was just clicking along, and he wasn't using heaps of energy. He was pretty relaxed in spots, and he looks like he could have done that pace all day.
Yeah.
Like, really.
And then it was weird the way that he crashed, because it looked like he was so the lap that he crashed, it looked like he didn't get that timing to where he doubled all the way over that hill.
Yeah, he was one of the few riders doing that too.
Yeah.
It looked like, anyway, just from the videos and that.
Yeah, but, they kind of had like a different rhythm. They could kind of pop up over the top, and then people kind of going like on off it. But yeah, I don't know. He just, I think it just caught him like just a little bit too much lean angle, and it's just washed out. It just does it though, and that dirt is funny. Like, it looks like it's kind of odd. So
yeah, have you rode there before?
No, I've never ridden there. Like, I've gone.
Dude, it's the weirdest dirt, eh? Like, it's like heavy, and the ruts, like everything about it. It looks like it's one of those weird tracks that rides so much different to what it looks. It's crazy.
Well, we have there's like tracks like that here. Like for us, like people go. And for example, I like to say Moat Bridge. Everyone goes, "Oh, it looks sick. The dirt's sick," but it's actually like I dread that place. I go there and I hate it from the start of the day to the end, because it's actually so slick. Like, it looks awesome, but it's got the slipperiest base, and it shifts, and the way you hit the dirt, like it's so heavy. Like, probably similar to like what you're saying with Parla. But yeah, like it looks, start of the day, you're like, this looks sick. Like, looks awesome. You get out there and you're like, was this even the same track? Like,
Coolum's another track that's kind of like different to what you'd think, eh?
It's getting better, I think. Like, we've been doing a fair bit there now, and it's just like we've had a lot of wet weather, and whether or not the hard base is just getting softer or whatever, but it's pretty fluffy there at the moment. Like, we've been like 250 around there. It's pretty hard. You got to keep the momentum going. Like, the thing struggles, but it's pretty good.
Dude, I've done races there where it looks like sand, and the roost is hitting you like sand, but it's just like riding a hard pack track with whoops in it. Like,
yeah, it's definitely does get like that. Like, it's sandy, but then it's like slick, like it's got a hard base, and it will just catch you off guard. Like, it's not even like the sand moves under you. It's like you're actually sliding on something that's hard underneath that. It's like it's got an edge. It's so weird, that place. But when it's, I don't know, there's like, you get locals that ride there all the time, and they'll be so fast at Coolum because they just know the dirt.
They know the dirt.
And they're just used to the bike moving under them and working underneath them, and they just feel comfortable at it. And you go there, and some days you're like, man, who's this guy? He's going nearly as fast as me. And you're like, fucking no, I need to pick up the pace, But it's just one of those places, I think. So
it's just like surfers, dude. Like, you get some guys that just know like those heavy surf spots, and they're nobodies. And then you could get any tour dude that goes out there, and like this guy, there'll just be a dude in the lineup that's like a local 40-year-old guy that'll just get fucking barreled off his head, and everyone will just be like, who is this dude?
Yeah, he just knows it. Knows how it works.
Yeah, knows how it goes. Yous both grew up with Hunter, really. Like, do you remember like a lot of him as a kid, or?
Because he was on the sunny coast and I was on the sunny coast as well. And I've got a younger brother, and he's the same age as Hunter, so they always used to race. And Hunter was good. I would see him at the track all the time, and we actually rode together at one of like the sand tracks I've been riding lately. One of the private ones I've got.
Is that what you've been posting on Instagram?
Yeah,
that place
one
looks fucking sick.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, it's hard work. Like, I took him there the other week, and he hated life.
Didn't like it at the start.
He was sitting there going, "This is shit," or "I feel shit," and he was pulling off because I was wiping the floor with him, and then But yeah, now he's going, oh, this is sick. I love it now. So yeah, it's a tough place. But yeah, riding with Hunter, like I guess I rode with him and saw him a lot growing up and stuff like that. It kind of, it's cool to see how far he's gone and the opportunities he's had, and they've made it happen. Like they packed everything up, they sold everything and they left. And I wish that I could do that. Like I wish that I had not the opportunity, like they made it happen, but I definitely wish I could have done that, with my family and everything like that. But it's just different circumstances. It just sometimes doesn't work. And did you do a
lot of stuff in the States though when you were young?
I went to the States, so I won the KTM Cup and when I was really young, when I was like 12 I think, and that was kind of like you win a trip to go do the World Minis, and that was kind of like the world titles at the time.
That's in Vegas, eh?
Yeah, in Vegas every year, and I went over there and
fucked.
Yeah, that was. I actually rode it. I don't know. I rode good there, but yeah, it's average as. It was pretty terrible. And I ended up getting third, and that was like a big deal. And like I was pumped and whatever, but that was one time I went, and I think we went for like 3 weeks, and then I went another time and I was going to do Loretta's, but it was just me and mum that went, and I was like 14. I went and did a qualifier, and I raced like guys like Jordan Smith and all these like different guys. Like they were fast. I think maybe when I went to the regional, I think I remember there was this big tall guy on a Yamaha, I think, 125, and their bikes were so fast compared to mine. And I'm pretty sure like it was Plessinger. Like there was guys out there that, AC was racing.
Is he older or younger?
He's older than me, but he was riding Super Mini, because those guys all kind of, I was 14 riding 125, but they're all 14, 15 riding Super Mini still. But over here it's a little different. And AC was racing, and he was unbelievable to watch. And I remember just like he was parked not far from me, probably a couple of hundred, like 100 meters away. And every race he'd win, and every race he come in, it wasn't good enough. His old man was going off. I couldn't believe it. And like he was racing Cooper Webb, and he was his main competition. Like Webb was on a 154 stroke.
I think it was a Roach, I think.
Yeah, and it was like AC was smoking him, and it just wasn't good enough. And I remember hearing it, and I'm just like, man, that poor kid. Like I had it tough growing up. Like we've all had it tough. We don't get here by now, telling you, being told you're riding great every day, little Johnny, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We have it tough, and man, he had it tough. Like he was getting fed. But I've been to America twice, but I've done like New Zealand a couple of times and stuff like that.
I thought you did more stuff when you were younger.
Nah, I wish I did, but like I would have. But it's just funding. That's it. And
I feel like nowadays too, like, because I mean, we grew up racing. Like I'm obviously older than you boys, but it was all the same sort of time. Like I probably would have been on like 250F when you guys were like riding 60s and shit.
Yeah, probably.
But it's like back then it felt so far away to go to America. But nowadays it just doesn't feel as big a deal, eh? Like you see like the Gommies now, just the world feels like a smaller place.
Man, there's kids, like every second kid on the sunny coast, I swear. Not every second, but like I'm seeing kids left, right and centre going to Millsaps and going to the States and doing this and doing that. And like back in the day, you never really heard of anyone doing that. But yeah, like I don't even know how half the people can afford to do it. Like Millsaps, that's not cheap going over and doing that.
And that is in the middle of nowhere, bro.
That's
on the complete.
Not even in the same world.
Nah, man.
Nah, like because going
to Southern California, like it's accessible because the tracks like Parla would be an hour and 45 minutes from LAX.
Yeah,
it's not that
far.
big a deal. Millsaps is like, dude, it's in the middle of nowhere.
It's like another 2 flights, because when I went the second time when I was on 125, we went to Alabama, and I was staying in Huntsville there, and it was like it's like another 12 hours of travel just to get over to that side. Like in Alabama's not like where I was only like I think it was maybe 5 hours from Millsaps or something like that. Like it's like the state over or something. getting over there, like getting to LA is easy, but then it's like you've got another 2 or 3 flights to get over there, and before you're even there, and then you got to get to the place, and it's crazy. And the flight from here to LA is it's like 12 hours or whatever. Maybe is it 12?
13, 14.
Yeah, something like that. And then you got to have a layover, and you're waiting for more flights. It's gnarly to go Millsaps
that far.
Yeah.
Have you done much over there?
No, I've been a couple of times, but not really for any racing or anything. It's a goal of mine to get there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just hard work getting there, but I've been there a few times. I went there the start of last year, I think it was, and tested a cycle trader Yamaha just for some like engine development here for our team.
Yeah.
But
Who
yeah,
does their engines?
I think it's Yoshimura.
Oh, okay.
Have got some. Oh well, that's a big part of it. I know that much.
Yeah.
But I don't. Obviously, we didn't ask too many questions. We just got to ride the bike, and we got a few little specs here and there, and we were just testing things like throttle bodies and air boots and stuff like that. So but I haven't like gone over there to do any racing yet.
I remember you went over there and you done that. It looked that looks sick. You got to ride. Where'd you ride? Milestone?
Yeah, we rode Milestone. We rode their Supercross race bike. We rode that around a motocross track with Supercross suspension.
That would have been sick.
I remember seeing that.
At least Milestone's not that rough.
It was so bad.
Dude, I remember we went to Parla one day, and it was like after the National, and I was with Hanny, and he rode his Supercross race bike because he didn't do motocross, and it was fucking so rough, dude.
Well,
it was a joke watching him ride it. He was getting hosed by everybody.
Milestone has like an amateur SX track, if that's what you want to call it, and I ended up just going over there and just riding that because it was just like it was too much. Yeah, like they had a set of loops and a few triples and jumps you could hit, so that was all right.
Was the motor good though?
Yeah, it was strong. Like it took me by surprise. Still, it kind of felt like it had a grunt or like of a 350. Like it was pretty intense, but it was sick. It was good to see like what you could get out of a Yamaha, like, you know what I mean, out of a 250.
Well, they can run such good fuel over there.
Yeah, they reckon
that's the biggest difference.
Makes a massive difference,
Dude, the JDR race shop, like, you used to go in there and you just get fucking high from walking in there. Like, we had like the sickest race gas, dude. And like every time the bike started, just as soon as you crack the throttle, you just smell the gas.
And they're so responsive as well. Like, it's the fuel over there is good. Like, I think that's what makes a big difference with here.
That's probably the biggest difference is the fuel. But I don't think it'd make sense to like have that rule here, because then it's like, dude, then what? Like, you're struggling to get to races as it is.
Yeah, that's
Imagine
right.
if there's like some dude that's getting a massive advantage of fuel.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense. And over there, it's just so much cheaper too. Like
that was
in general.
That was the
So
first
cheap.
thing I noticed when I went there. Just like first time I ever went to America, we went to a practice track and just smelling the fuel, like when the bikes are riding around, even just
Joes.
Yeah, just average Joes that are just at the Supercross track practicing. They might not even be rocking up to Anaheim, but they got the best fuel in the business. And I was just like, man, what is going on?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It smells awesome too. Like, especially when you go to like, you smell two strokes, like, you know, when you smell two stroke and you're like, oh, that's sick, and you smell it with a bit of race gas, you're like, oh, it's even better. But over there,
the 4-stroke have that same thing.
And then it's like when you like, even when I was doing like a couple of the amateur races, like, you've got all 2 strokes on the start line, you know, in Schoolboy 1 or 2 or whatever it may be, and the smell is just unbelievable. It's sick.
It's crazy.
If you stood behind it, almost like, you know, you go to a drag, you know.
It's like on a speedway.
And, you know, the fuel almost like burns your eyes. It's almost similar to that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Could you imagine if it was like that at Aussie Nationals here?
I remember the first time I smelt roof fuel over here, and I thought that was the shit. And I went there and I was just like, man, what the fuck is going on?
They're on the good gear.
That's what I was like too. I think I got a bike. I ran in Rue for the first time. I'd never even heard of it, and I ran it in.
What's that? Is that what everyone uses here?
Yeah, VP 100, Rue 100.
Oh, yep.
And where were we? We were at Lakes Junior Aussies, and I remember we had a tin of it there, and it was like $300 or something. We were like, man, I hope this does something. Put in my bike, and I couldn't believe it. Like in a 2-stroke, I thought it was awesome, and I remember a couple of Americans having it, not too many people, but yeah, it made a massive difference in the 2 strokes. It'd be crazy to see what those ones like, you know, the fuel that they run over there, how much of a difference. If you could run it here and like back to back it, like see the difference, I reckon it'd be crazy. It'd blow you away. But yeah,
well, then you can run like you run higher octane fuel, then you can run more compression, which means you can like that's where you start to feel like that grunt, but it sort of all comes off the back of that fuel.
Yeah, that's what allows them guys over there to have their bikes so fast, like those Geico bikes and even those TLD bikes and stuff. Those 250s are rocket ships. Like if you speak to Dan Reardon and stuff like that, he'll tell you how fast those Star Yamaha bikes are. Like they're as fast as a 450, and that's why those 250 guys go in Supercross. Their lap times will be sometimes faster than the 450 guys because the bike's lighter. It's got just as much power.
Yeah, same amount of power.
Yeah, and they can turn the things like under the 450. Like a 450 is they're so hard to turn sometimes. A 250 you can just get in and out, stay lower, and that's where they get their time. That's where they're going faster. And you're just like, man, how's that? How you're thinking, more power is going to be faster, but sometimes it's not the case.
And they're just running them on like a full red line too.
Yeah,
like the PC bikes they're doing one race, and there was times where the PC dudes would be changing. They'd do like practice qualifying heat race, and then they'd be changing engines for the mains and shit.
I remember they were doing. I think I remember hearing that in outdoors. They were doing
it in between first and second moto.
Yeah, first and second moto. If it was like a tough, like the moisture or whatever, or the bike was
like
under
Millville,
a lot of load.
they'd do it.
Yeah,
like Southwick, they'd do it.
Yeah, just fresh engine for the second moto. No worries.
Budget, bruh.
Man, I wish I had some of that budget.
Oh yeah. So with like when you see what for you boys, like you both obviously would want to get overseas at some point. What's the route to take now? Like with everyone doing Europe and Europe going well, but then you go straight to the US. Like where do you both see as like the most, I guess the easiest way to get to America would be just to go to America, but like what's going to set you up better for a career there, you think?
Well, I personally think having Hunter and like Wilson and that go and show, or even just get their foot in the door, helps us as well, because they're opening the doors or the eyes to those people over there to see us like we're not underrated or something, if that's what you want to call it. So I think that's definitely helping, but it's just a grind. Like you got to just almost be annoying, and they like just get onto people, or even just do what Wilson's done. Like I think if you can do it and you got the money or the support, or not even the support, because Wilson didn't really have any to go there. He just he just started pulling money out of his pocket, and he went and did it, and now he's done 3 rounds. Well, he's about to start doing 3 rounds of TLD. So like, sometimes you just got to take the lunge and go for it, I reckon.
I think you've got to be seen over there as well. Like, you've got to take the risk and pack up and go. If you've got the money there, I don't see why.
Well, it's worked for Ferris this year.
Yeah, I don't see why people. There's people that make money in the sport in Australia. When you're winning and stuff like that. If you're making that money, I know what I'd be doing. I'd be turning it straight around. Like, it's nice to have money and everything, but if your goal is to go to America, I'd be straight going to America. Like, going over there, you can do it on a budget. It's cheap over there. I've looked at it. And, just being seen. Like, that's what Wilson did. He went there, had a little bit of help at round 1, had a bike there and stuff like that, and just got out there and done his thing. And, he's seen at the practice track during the week. Like, he was riding with Anderson and Webb and, those guys. You hang... I think once you're there and you're getting seen, I said, that's when opportunities come about, and that's what's obviously happened with him. But yeah, I just think you just got to take, with Europe's hard. You've got to have...
Yeah, that's not easy to do that.
No, I've heard that. So also a grind, just so many different things to take on at once. It's
I love Caleb, and like he grew up with all of us boys, and like, as soon as he went to Europe, if you're not on a factory team, if you're not on KTM, if you're not on Husky, if you're not on one of those teams, like, don't fucking go to Europe.
Yeah, well,
because like it fucked Brendan Harrison's career. Like everyone has sort of come back and forward, and you hear like even Hunter, man, he didn't get paid from that Honda team that he like was getting podiums for, and getting race wins. Like it's a good place to go if you've got the support, and that's why Mitch has surprised the hell out of me, dude, because like Townley said, that bike's a fucking turd.
Yeah.
Like he's like,
and he's not a small boy either.
no, he's like, that's not a good team, that's not a good bike, and he's a big motherfucker. So it's like he's killing it, like the way that he's making it work. But you guys have both raced him. Like that dude's a dog with a bone.
Yeah, it is so surprising because when he was here, like he obviously had a really good year last year here in a 450, but the year before that when he was riding for Serco, he obviously got good results, but he wasn't a standout 250 rider. So it's surprising to see.
He was good. He's always been good, but it wasn't like he was, lighting the world on fire on 250s that year before. So for him to go 450 last year and do good, I was like, that surprised me. And then, he was riding awesome, but then to go back to a 250 and, it might not be the best bike out there and he's still getting good results and being solid that's pretty surprising. And he's never even done it before, and I don't even know who's helping him. Like, I don't know if Mitch is just winging it. The teams over there can only help you so much, but you need to have good support behind you and like a bit of guidance as well when you're going and doing that, because there's so many different countries and stuff. You definitely, it's almost like you've got to have your you've got to have everything lined up and in place for it to work. Otherwise, you might as well, you're just going to waste your time. And that's when I think people are coming back and going, they get sold the dream, and then, they get an Atlas when they go over there. And it's hard because, we don't know what the teams are like over there. So when, we could hear...
It's a lot easier to hear the chatter from the States than it is over there.
Yeah. And, there's different language over there. It's crazy. But Mitch is doing sick this year over there.
It's insane, eh?
But yeah, I think
it's just his fucking attitude, man. Like, he's just one of those dudes, eh? Like, when you're around him, he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's never given a fuck if, you're not supposed to do something. He's just I don't know, he's just one of those kids. And I feel like there's some people where everything needs to go right for it to work. And then there's other kids where it's almost the more that goes wrong, the better they are. And I feel like Mitch is kind of like that sometimes.
Well, I'm good friends with his brother Richie, and I can see how his personality would work.
Because he's a little asshole. But in the way that you need to be.
Yeah, like I see the same thing with Richie. Hanging out with him, and then he's just he just lives I don't really give a fuck attitude sort of thing. Not in a bad way, but just with different things, with things that doesn't really matter if you don't give a fuck. Not with his how he treats people or whatever.
Yeah.
But just
he just doesn't let shit get to him.
Yeah, and they're from Cairns too, which is kind of I've been to Cairns and I couldn't live there. It's so weird. But they grew up there, so I can see how it would, how adapting to different things would help Mitch over there. So
it was crazy for us. So that was our crew. It was me, it was Todd, it was Jats, it was the Evans boys. Wilson was there. So Wade Hunter, none of us fucking knew what was going on. Yeah. We were all we'd all go to the races, we'd travel to everywhere, and it was no one really knew. And it's so, even Caleb, but there was such a crazy little group of guys up there that it's still a really cool story of that whole kind of crew that came out. And Mitch and Wilson, you go to any Cairns club day and you'd see Mitch and Wilson lapping everybody 4 times, but that was the battle for the national championship every single year. Yeah, was those two. Either one of them would win the national. So it was every weekend they were racing the nationals against each other, but it was just at a club day.
Yeah, just club days.
And so I think there is something to that. When you live out there, it's so isolated. It's all the tracks. Jats's dad was the one that really, I think, kept everyone together because he'd make the tracks.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that back in the day. It was just you guys up there, and then you just wouldn't see any of yous. I was actually I was teammates with Todd in juniors.
Yeah, Motor-X.
Yeah, Motor-X. He was a lot older than me. But yeah, you never see him. You just come down, race, and then go back. Yeah, and that was it. Then they just done their thing, and I guess that's where they just don't. They get their attitude that they don't really care what anyone thinks, and they'll do what they think. You're not gonna. It's not that they're stubborn or anything like that, but they're just.
I think it's just isolation.
Yeah.
You guys were around the industry so much as kids, and you especially, you were the, you know, like the poster boy for that MotorX KTM team, and it was almost like you and then Brendan Harris. You were like the next sort of big, and then Todd.
Yeah, it was Todd, Ty. Oh, it was like Brendan Harrison, Todd, Ty, and then me. And like to get on MotorX back then, it was, man, we tried everything to get on it. Like I tried to win everything as much as I could, and it took years to get on that team. And then like once you got on it, it was like a big thing. But then I think it's all changed now, because, you know, you see everyone's a factory rider now in in juniors and stuff. Like I see it now, everyone's a factory rider, or everyone's saying this or doing that or doing that. But back in the day, it was like there was like a legit team. Yeah, if you were like to be everyone, there wasn't any teams or anything. But if you were on a team, it was a team. Like it was proper, and you were getting a lot of stuff, and it was a big thing. But yeah, now it's
Yamaha. It's pretty much just Yamaha now. He's got a team like in
Bishop
the juniors.
Still have his team?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
But there's like a KTM Queensland team. Then there's the factory MotorX team as well now, and that's kind of going back to the old ways. Like it's
does
kind
Macca
of
still have his team? Because his team was pretty legit.
Well, I rode for Macca that 1 year, and it was good, but there was like almost too much going on, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, it's still just juniors. Like we're still kids. Like you can't. It's not a team. Yeah, it is a team, but it's not like you can't run it as a business. A junior team. Yeah. Like, you know, in his like for himself, you know, you can't run it as a business or anything like that. So, it's almost like volunteer work. So it wasn't.
Yeah, unless it's coming from the factory.
It wasn't as, you know, it wasn't as legit, let's say, as, you know, when it was just like Todd, me, Ty.
Yeah.
Not like that. But now it's kind of going back to that. Because I helped one kid up at Sunshine Coast, Jed Alsop, and he rides for the factory team and like the factory junior MotorX team. And it's kind of going back to the old ways. Like there's one from kind of not each state, but one here, one there, and you've got to get on that team.
Yeah,
you got to be winning titles. So it's kind of cool. It's going back that way, but but you go in the pits now, and everyone's a team. Like there's team here, team there, factory, team there. Yeah, and they're like, it's not that they're, you know, it's everyone wants to be factory, but it's not that they're wannabes, but it's like a little bit. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Righto, let's talk about Colorado, because we're going deep. Let's go to the results. Full results. What was your little takeaway from just watching that bit of the first moto that we sort of were watching before?
Kenny's on.
Kenny was on, wasn't he?
Kenny's definitely sorted his sickness out, I reckon.
I don't know what's going on there with these with his sickness, but it seems to be gone. And he's saying that, you know, he's feeling good, but he's not where he wants to be. So I think everyone, you know, when he gets to where he wants to be, I think everyone's
could be dangerous.
Yeah, gonna be in trouble.
I wonder though, like with Kenny, if it's like actually just not like an excuse, but like he sort of still has a bit of room to play with after the crash and after everything that's sort of gone on these last couple of years. Like I feel like he can still say that, and we're going to believe him. But I don't know. Like I've got super high expectations of him, and I just think Eli is a stronger outdoor rider at the moment.
Definitely.
But I think that the thing with Eli, and like maybe you guys can shed some light. This is because I get asked all the time, like, why does Eli always crash? And you know, like, because he's either fucking hero or zero. And I think that he has one style. He basically wraps the throttle fucking wide open, and then he doesn't let go until the moto's done. That works on some tracks, and it doesn't work on others.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't have an 80 or 90%. It's just 110 all the time.
And then when he tries to do the 80 or 90%, it's just like he's laying on the ground.
Yeah.
Like he just can't. I don't think he can, you know, mentally back it down and be able to put a race together. It's like he backs it down and then, you know, something happens. Like
things start happening, it's like the focus kind of almost goes away a bit, or you just maybe, like just not 100% focused, and then that's when like that weird crash when first round of Supercross last year when he was winning and he was just out front by like 9 seconds, and you know he might have just gone, oh, I'm just gonna fucking cruise around, or just, you know, maintain, and then that's when you have a brain fart and just cartwheel.
I think he I reckon he worries about everyone else maybe a little bit too much. He needs to just like, because there's times when he's out in front and he rides to the, you know, I know people, there's always argument, you know, do you get out in front and you be smart and just bring it home to the end and, you know, ride it, if you can ride at 90% and win, do you do that? Or do you race yourself to the finish line? And, you know, you not race yourself, but you keep focusing on yourself and not the other people. Because I think...
Yeah, and not change the game plan.
Yeah, you know, I think... I think as soon as you start going, oh, okay, I'm out front, I can back it down a little bit because I'm winning.
Start making mistakes and shit starts happening.
Your focus has already shifted to the other, you know, your competitors. Because you're going, oh, I can back it down because I'm beating everyone. But... You know, and that's when you start thinking about everyone else. But if you're just out in front and you're just going, okay, I'm just going to race myself. I'm going to, you know, lap times on the pit board. I'm going to make sure I keep hitting my marks, ticking those boxes, hitting that same lap time. That's what you used to hear
Dundee say, dude, over and over, just hit my marks. Yeah. Like all he cared about was a lap time.
Yeah, and, you know, that's you know, I think that's, you're focused on yourself then when you're just, you know, racing yourself. Where if you're racing, you're out in front, you're like, oh, I've got a comfortable lead, I can back it down. You're starting to think about everyone else then because you're going, oh,
like managing a gap.
Yeah, you're like, oh, do I need to pick it up? Oh, they're catching me. Oh, you know, all these different things come into play and you're suddenly thinking about everyone else. So I think that, you know, maybe that's what happens with Eli as well. As soon as he gets out in front, he's tried the manage thing, you know, just manage that gap. And that's when I think that, you know, like you said, that little mistake, he threw it away because he's just out front, you know, his mind's probably wandering. He's thinking about someone else behind him, thinking about keeping the gap, and that's when he throws it away. But if he gets out in front and he does what Eli does and races to the end and annihilates everyone, there's kind of like no real mistake, is there? But I know he's made mistakes and thrown it away and had big crashes and stuff like that. But you know, I think that's human, it's natural as well.
It is part of it for sure. It just seems like sometimes he'll have just those weekends where it's on, he can't do anything wrong, and it's like he looks the same but he's making tons of mistakes, and I just feel like he's just not the kind of guy that changes setup or riding style or makes any adjustment for a certain track. I think he's just got that one gear and it's checkers or wreckers with him, you know.
Yeah, you listen to, you know, if you listen to the Stewart video, and you know that Bubba done not long ago, talking like about talking about Eli, and he just basically just goes like, he basically, you know, it was like a backhanded compliment because he was like, I don't understand why Eli doesn't win. Like, he's that good, but he's just like, why isn't he? Like, he doesn't get it. Like, it's
kind of weird for James to be the one that says that, though.
Yeah, I know.
But now he's looking fat and fucking washed up.
Yeah. So yeah, we had so Ken got the overall with a 1-2. Eli he got that bad start, went 5-1. Zach Osborne, did you boys think that Zach Osborne was going to be a podium dude before the year?
He's obviously good. Like he's said it a few times now when he speaks in the interviews, and that like he might be a rookie in the 450 class, but he's a lot older than the actual. He's a lot older than the actual rookie. So he's probably got a little bit more racecraft than that, and I expect him to be up there all the time. Like we all know how good he can ride a bike, so I can't see why he wouldn't be there.
No, for sure. And I said on here at the start of the season that I thought that there would be a lot of weekends where Ken, Eli, and Zach were the top three. Like, I think he'll get third in the championship.
If he's consistent, then yeah, why not? Because if you're looking at this, they're pretty all over the place at the moment. But one that's kind of surprised me is Webb, like 3.8. Like,
I just think Webb has got that Supercross bonus, and he don't give a fuck.
Well, yeah,
I wouldn't give a fuck.
Well, you listen to him in that press conference after he won, and they're like, "Oh,
what do you think about outdoors?"
Yeah, and he's just like, "I don't give two shits about outdoors at the moment." And he said, "I've just won the championship," but it's like, yeah, but if
it's almost like nearly he hasn't been forgotten, but it's like you don't hear so much anymore about him because we're 3 rounds deep, or 2 or 3 rounds deep now into the motocross, and it's like he hasn't even podiumed yet, sort of thing. So it's like, it's almost like he's kind of flying under the radar again now. Like the whole Supercross thing's like kind of fizzled out, I guess.
But, like, you imagine how much mental effort he would have put into Supercross though. And like, he literally would not have thought about outdoors until that reporter said outdoors, and like, a guy like Ken, he was riding outdoors for
so
ages.
Yeah.
Ando was riding outdoors for ages. Like,
Yeah.
Eli would have been probably had his head in the championship right up until New York. Well, I mean, he still had a chance, but fuck, sorry boys. Yeah, I mean, for Webb, like, just I'm not sweating this motocross championship at all.
Well, I don't even know if I seen videos of him riding motocross at all. Like, as you wouldn't, like, you lead the Supercross championship, but yeah, he could, eventually come on a bit stronger sometime soon.
Because he's a bad dude in outdoors. When he rode those 250s, man, he was insane on like even like technique wise and stuff like that. He was real good, and he was just a bulldog on the 250. But I don't know if he can do that on the 450 because he's a little smaller, and a 450 is, a lot more power and everything. I don't know if he can ride it the same, but if he goes back to
that old style,
like that's basically what we saw in Supercross, like that old Cooper Webb again. If that comes in motocross, I think there's no reason why he can't probably get up there behind, I'll be on the podium.
Yeah, he can for sure be on the podium.
But I think, to beat Eli and Ken straight up at the moment, it's pretty, like, the only one I can really see that would do that is, someone like Jeffrey Hurlings when, Jeff, when Jeff is healthy, but at the moment he's still trying to ease back into it and everything. But yeah, like, because I look at technique wise and riding style and all that, and Eli and Ken, their technique and riding styles just.
Are you boys looking at other riders' styles and trying to like make it, like, add that into your own game?
Yeah, like me, 100%,
really,
all the time.
For sure.
Who are you looking at? Like, what kind of stuff? Like,
I look at I watch Jeffrey Hurlings all the time. I watch one person that's really good is like Anderson, like where his legs are on the bike, like how far he can have his legs back and be on his toes, and then be able to keep his head forward still. Like that's, so like his weight is at the back of the bike, but then he's having no pressure on his arms because he's like the top half of his body is still forward. And like the way Jeffrey Hurlings moves on the bike as well is like, if you actually watch him and you think about how he goes through a set of rollers so fast and keeps the wheels on the ground, that's so hard to do. Like, because as soon as you start going, you can do it, but as soon as you try and go faster through them, like at a practice track, say if you got a long set of rollers, try and go faster through them, you start jumping. Like, it's just natural for the thing to start picking up and jumping. And he's able to go through them wide open and keep the bike on the ground. Like, the way he can move on the bike is unbelievable. So I always look at that. I always study like Tomac. Like, there's a reason why those guys are so fast, and the way they can get through bumps and stuff like that.
I was gonna say, like, Tomac is the kind of guy that you watch just to learn just how fucking fast you can go when it's rough.
Yeah.
Because like I remember we were at Carmichael's one day, and he's like, dude, I was just the dude that went through the fastest line, no matter how rough it got.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's this weird thing where everyone's always like, oh, you got to choose your lines and get out of the bumps and
line.
All that. But it's like, dude, fucking Eli Tomac don't do that. Ricky Carmichael don't do that. Like, the dudes that are really sending it are just the ones that are down to send it through the bumps, like the gnarliest lines on the track.
Well, we were at Coolum the other day, and he was going this line, and it was smooth, like it was around the outside, the line I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like the inside was bumpy coming in, and there was like kind of two big bumps, but it was the shortest way around the turn. I was like, man, just go inside, like. And he's like, oh, it's hard to get the bike going because it's 250.
250 loft.
And I was like, yeah, it's understandable. But I try to like tell him to change up this little bit at the start, carry a little bit more momentum in over this bump, and then you can get out of it better, and then carry, like, you won't be stop and starting, so you're not losing that momentum. So,
yeah.
And were you doing that at the end of the day? That line, that
50,
inside?
50. 50.
Okay. Because, like, that's the thing. Like, I would rather go, if I can hop through a couple of bumps, if I have to hit a couple of bumps on the inside and it's faster, I'm going to use less energy than going all the way around the outside and hitting, bumps as well. I'm going to go to the inside every time and just figure out a way to get through them faster, and make them not there. Like, it's...
Well, the thing is, though, is that the fitness that it takes to hit those rough lines every time, but that's where I think that's where guys, like, if you really want to go fast, you really, especially at a practice track, like, in my head, don't ride any smooth lines anytime you do a practice moto ever.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you should be punishing yourself. Like, it should be torture for those 30s.
Yeah, well, we don't get to the racetrack on the Sunday and there's really any smooth lines.
No,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
It's but it's hard to do because your fucking hands are getting sore.
And you're 3 days deep and you've done 10, 20-minute motos and you've been training. And
it makes sense. It makes sense why you don't do it. But I think that it's like, that's the, all you guys are fast. All you guys have talent. And it's like, I think that when you really break it down to like, who are the guys that are killing it? And it's like, you look at Eli come down that hill at Colorado. He's doing the fucking inside line.
Yeah.
Like, and he's taking the short way, and that's what's going to get you a wheel inside, and that's what's going to get you the pass. So it's like, it's hard though to commit to that. And especially like, you got to think about, it's not just the fact of physically how hard it is, but it's a risk. Every time you hit that gnarliest, roughest line on the track, you're risking it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and I think that's what makes our sport so gnarly, is that, what it takes to do so good is risky as fuck.
It's risky business. Every lap, every bump, every turn, everything. It's just how it is. But yeah, it's no good. I don't see any benefit in riding a smooth track, like practicing on a smooth track ever. Like we've been riding the hardest shit the last 2 weeks, and like I've been riding sand. Like we've got a hard pack round coming up, but I've had a paddle on my bike and a paddle tire on my bike, and I said to myself, I'm not going to take this thing off until a few days before the next round, and I'll go ride hard pack then, because sand's the toughest. It's the toughest thing to ride. Physically,
sure.
Even mentally. Doing a moto and stuff. So I was just like, I'm going to go ride the roughest shit that I can find to get myself fitter and to be, to get the most benefit out of the second half of the season. And instead of going to, Willowbank on Wednesday and riding a prep track with nice rats, like, yeah, it might be fun and nice, but
it's not going to do that much for you.
It's not going to, it's also fun and nice winning. Yeah. And if you got to ride the hard shit to do that, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, but hopefully, who knows, it could pay off. It might not.
Think about, that's what everyone said when Hurlings was turning pro. Like, oh yeah, he's the fastest sand rider in the world. No, motherfucker. He's just the fastest rider.
He's wiping everyone.
Yeah, he's just the fastest guy in the world.
I believe if you can ride sand and you're fast in sand gets rough and bumpy, you're going to be fast in anything. You can ride hard back easy. So that's my take on everything. So
yeah, no, it makes sense, and old Jeff Rose bloody proving it too. So yeah, Marv 8.3, not great. I think, like, we always talk about Marv, like, I don't know, man. I just think that he's
nearly one of those guys that everything has to be in line for him to have a good day. But yeah, usually outdoors he's good, but I don't know what's going on. Whether it be the other riders around him are just better, this year at the moment, or like we look at it and all the way down to 12th. There's Justin Hill and that, and then everyone above him, they're all top dogs. So
yeah, I think with Marv, man, like, can you imagine if, let's say, like, well, not let's say, like, he has had the best bike, the best coach, the best facility, like, he's had everything the best for years and he hasn't won. Like, how long could you go with, like, knowing you've done everything right and not winning?
Well, I heard that the other week somewhere, and yeah, I don't know, and he's getting old too, man. Like, Marv's he's an old dude.
He's 30 now, I think.
Yeah, he'd be getting up there. Like, yeah, I don't know how much longer he's going to keep doing it. Maybe it's coming to an end, but who knows? He could turn around next weekend and go smoke everyone, but it's just how it is.
Yeah, and we're going to sit here eating our words.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sorry, but
I think you can keep talking shit on Marv. I don't think that he's going to get around and win like that.
But no, like, he's got the best everything.
Yeah, it's like all there, right?
I don't know if it's mental or what, but it's something's not there at the moment.
Well, we talk about how Tomac and Roxon Roxon maybe is still probably a little bit of a precise rider, but Tomac obviously not. He's just a full bulldog. But I think Marv is like takes it to another level with how precise and technical he is, and maybe it's just not paying off for him in motocross right now.
When I spent some time at BT's last year before, I had him going to me like when I'd ride the track. Sometimes he'd up me and he'd be like, "Stop trying to be so perfect." He said, "Hang the thing out." Like he told me that so many times. I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I would try and be real precise. Like, you know, maybe that's what what I'm trying to say is maybe that's what Marv's doing too much of, trying to be too precise and not actually hanging it out like these other guys are. So he's trying to be that too perfect, no mistakes, but sometimes you got to take the risk.
Risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then, shout out to Dean who went 6'9". Starting the second moto wasn't as good as the first moto. The first moto he ran fourth pretty much the entire moto, and then I think he got eaten up by Tomac and Anderson. They came by him late, but pretty good sign, man. I think that that's the only move for Dean. Like I wish the Europe thing worked out a little bit better. Like he didn't hurt his knee and he could have stayed. I think he would have been in much better shape. But I think you guys probably agree he belongs in the States.
Well, I reckon as well, like he's only going to get better now. Like now he's both results on the weekend were inside the top 10, so that was obviously good. And
it took 3 rounds to do that.
Yeah, but if you think back before round 1, and even like long before that, like Murray Bridge and that, he had done next to no racing since.
And the last race he did was on a KTM.
Yeah, change of bikes.
Yeah,
and then before that, like. Yeah, the Suzuki at one point, and then he was riding his old championship bikes because he had no bikes to ride. So, with all that in play,
because he wouldn't have done much since the national. Straight after Supercross, he got injured with his accident.
That was massive, bro.
That was a big crash.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I was there.
That happened right in front of me.
Yeah, I was just. Oh, you were on the track. Yeah. I was filming you.
Oh yeah, I was on the track, and it happened like right in front of me. Because it was, who was it? Him. There was him, Medi, and I think Jace Owens. They were in front of me, and then I was fourth. And it was the weirdest thing.
It was bizarre, eh?
Like the dirt is so weird at that place. Sometimes it honestly feels like it'll suck you up and pull you one way, and it's just what happened. Like he jumped and then it just pulled him one way, and when you get off balance like that, it just will drive you to the ground. And I think that's just what happened. And
it was a big hit, man.
I could not, because I watched the whole thing and I could not figure out what happened, because there was actually a down rider in that lane, and it was all under yellow flags, and I was like watching people jump through, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Because obviously you're not supposed to jump when the yellows are there or whatever. And they were still sending it, like jumping the big rhythms, and then I was just like fully mind fucked, and then I just seen Ferris just off balance and fucking feed off and had a big one.
Well, that's what I was wondering, whether like they just didn't see it, and then
we didn't.
Because the flat, like the wait, my mic just went out. Hang on, sorry boys.
All right.
She's back. Gee whiz. I had like some flagger like yelling at me that I was in the wrong spot, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I've been doing this for a really long time. Like, I feel like I'm good. And then, and it was that same flagger that was yelling, and I'm not blaming the flagger, but it was the same flagger that was like yelling at me for like being in the wrong spot, that was on that corner, because it was after the like as you'd come around the first turn, and then you go in there, and
it might not have been
I just
visible or something.
Maybe there was something weird that went on with the flagger, because it looked like Dean went to do the big rhythm and then realized there was a rider down, and then like half did it, half didn't, and then it just like cross-rutted him and sent him.
That's what we did, because we went that inside. I think we were going like 3, and then we went to go 3 again, and then it was that last 3 out. And we went 3 in, then we all kind of jammed on the brakes, because I didn't see the yellow flag, because it must have been on that inside, and I didn't see it. None of us did. And then I only saw it.
The flagger was on the inside of that turn.
Yeah, we didn't see it. And then we saw the yellow flag like halfway through the rhythm. And that's when everyone kind of jammed on the brakes. But Dean did it, and as he's like, because we landed in one of the rhythms where we landed was kind of fresh.
Yeah.
So it had been bobcatted, but there was like kind of still ruts underneath. And when you land in that shit, sometimes it just pulls you, and that's just what's happened. I think like it. Honestly, he landed and just went
shot off
hard right, like just that way. And I was like, whoa, like that was like we nearly all got cleaned up like in it. Like I was jamming on the brakes, trying not to hit him and pulling back to the left, and it's hard because there's ruts in the rhythms and shit. But that was gnarly, man. And then seeing him on the ground for so long as well.
I thought it was real bad.
And then like we were coming around, and that was actually a long heat race because our heat race is like 8 laps.
Yeah.
And it made it feel so long because
you'd roll the whole
we had to roll the whole thing. So it actually ended up being long as the race.
Yeah,
and I was just
sense.
going, man, when's this checker flag coming out? And I was actually using heaps of energy. People think like rolling a rhythm, like you under a yellow, you're going to save energy. But we're all trying to roll it and still go half fast because Dean wasn't on the track.
Yeah.
So we're using energy. Like you're trying to push down and push through, and I was using energy doing it. And at the end of the race, I was just like, man, I'm cooked. I was fucked.
You don't really think of that.
Yeah, but it's because we're trying to keep the wheels on the ground, and we're still trying to get half fast through it all. I was using heaps of energy.
Do you have a time you have to be out of here, or
no?
No.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure. So I agree. I think that I'd sort of thought that it'd be a few rounds before we saw him in the top 10 both motos, and I think I think he's sort of right on cue there. Third round, 2 in the top 10. I think that's really just like that's good for him, you know.
I think
that if he starts building like towards top 5s and then some moto podiums, I think is definitely possible, especially the deeper the season goes.
I think because I'm friends with Dean. Like I ring him, in off season and say, what are you doing down here, by yourself? You got any friends down there in Cuyahoga or what? But I talked to his his mate John Hafey, which is he's really close with, and I see John all the time and been talking to him, and I think Dean was struggling with bike setup a little bit when he first went going over in this trip.
Because they just run them stiff, dude.
Well, they run
so
it.
Stiff.
They reckon they run it so weird. And then I actually heard like a rumor that when Dean went over last year and he flew everything over, raced it, and the Yamaha team over there wanted like all of Dean's settings.
Really?
And that's basically what they ran for the rest of the season, was the exact same as Dean's bike.
No shit.
But this time, Dean going over riding on that team, I think it's more you've got to run our stuff. It's that's what it's more of. So Dean's just, I don't know, I guess he's kind of gone in blind, doesn't really have a base setting. And I think they're running like a different fork to what he used to run here. I think he's figuring it out, but that's what's been the struggle, has been bike setup so far.
And he will get it dialed.
Yeah, I think it'll be better in the back half of the season. I think
too much all the time too. Sometimes teams only let you change so many things, or
or
they have their own input into what you decide. Like you want to change something, they'll be like, nah, you don't want to do that because this is, our track's this or our track's that. But it's like, man, we ride the bike, not you, sort of thing. Like sometimes that stuff can come into play too, I think. But Justin Barsha runs his forks like that. Like, you should be running them like that too. I've had that before, with teams and everything, but it's not, they're two different riders.
Well, Pro Circuit, dude, they give you an A, B and C and that's it. So like you'll get your bike and they'll give you a fucking sheet at the start of the year. You got 3 suspension settings, you got 3 motor settings, you got 3 chassis settings, and 3 fucking whatever, 3 bar settings, 3 triple clamp settings. That's it. You literally get to pick from A, B, and C, and then you just tell them, I want A for my motor, I want B for my suspension. Like that's how they do it.
It kind of.
I can see where it would work.
It would work, but I think,
especially with young dudes.
Yeah, guys that don't really know.
Yeah.
But there'd have to be fine tuning in there as well.
Yeah, they definitely do then start, but you're not going to because the problem is I think like people can test themselves in circles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
100%.
I've been at the track with really fucking good riders that they've got no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't blame them. There's so many variables. Like, you boys have so many options of stuff you can change, like throttle bodies and fucking, like you can even see, I can't remember what bike it was, but they've got holes drilled into the engine mounts, so that there's more flex in the chassis. You know,
I've seen some pretty crazy shit. Like well, what I thought was crazy, and I've never tried it because I think I can set up a bike to how I like it pretty well, but there's certain things that I won't be able to feel.
Yeah.
And I remember one day we were at a practice track during motocross, and it was Cade Mosick at the time. He was riding for Cowie.
Yeah.
And he was always doing a lot of testing, and I remember one time he was like...
Was that when you were on Cowie as well?
Nah, I was on a Husky the year before that. I was still on 250, but he was testing how... I'm pretty sure it was how tight one of the... I think it was the swing arm bolt and a rear axle bolt for rigidness and stuff like that. So that's what I was getting from his mechanic at the time. I'm like, what are you testing? And he's like, we're fucking doing this and changing the, I don't know if it's called Newton meters. Was that?
The
tension. Yeah. And he's like, we do this one to that torque and the rear axle to that torque. And I'm like, surely you can't feel that.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the other day when I got, I was at Coolum and I tightened my swing arm because I hate it. Even half a turn on my swing arm, I can feel the thing flex. Like I don't know if it's mental or what, but I feel like I can feel the thing flex, and I want the thing as tight as I can, just because I hate it folds. It feels like it folds on me, and it seems every time that I get that feeling, I go to the swing arm and I can do like half a turn on it, like on the actual where the swing arm goes through the frame, and I can heave on it half a turn, full turn, and then I go out there and it's all good again. So
that's crazy, eh?
But I think all well and good if you can feel all that stuff, eh? Like what I was saying about Kate, if you can feel it and it makes a difference, then go for it.
Dude, I remember Jats won an 85 Aussie title at Coolum one year, and then I pushed his bike up into their fucking Iveco and the whole triple clamps were loose.
I think I remember.
It's a Cairns thing, I'm telling you. They're so different.
And I was like, wait, Jats, how long's it been like that? And he's like what? I'm like, your handlebars are loose, bro. And he's like, oh yeah. That's what he said. Yeah. He just didn't care. He was just like, well, I don't know, man, whatever.
Well, I tested at Coolum the other week, and I haven't tested in like over a year because I just been riding the one bike, whatever. We're out there doing a couple of clicks here, a couple of clicks there. And Paul from MPE is going like, oh, how's that feel? I was like, when I first started, I was like, I don't know, like I just couldn't even know. I didn't know. And then we started changing some things, and towards the end of the day I started noticing the difference. But like at the start he made some big changes and changed some stuff, and I was just like, well, I don't know. I don't know whether it was the track, because it's hard to test at Coolum, but man, I felt like a squid. I felt like I was just going around in circles, but towards the end of the day I got it going good. But and I wasn't even testing much. I was just testing little bits and pieces with the rear shock. But yeah, sometimes you do that and it's like, it's mentally draining. When I was testing with KDM and stuff, you have long days at the test track with Supercross and stuff like that. And like the track's changing, so you don't know whether you're going in the right direction or the wrong direction.
There's too many variables, man.
And it's drying out, and then the whips are getting slippery or the whips are getting cupped out, and then there's like a fine line where you can really actually test, and then you just like bang your head against the wall. Sometimes it's fucking it's gnarly, but I don't know. There was one bit there where I was cutting the cross, so I ran a crossbar on my bars and I was cutting the middle of it, get more flex, but then I'd come into the turns, and if I washed the front, the bars would literally just bend, like because the cross brace was cut.
Gone,
because I was running a 999, like a Renthal 999. And
have you seen those? I don't know who the brand is that doesn't, but they've got like a crossbar, and then it's got like
clickers on it. I ran it last year. They're pretty good. You can actually fully feel it too. I remember I had a set. And whether they just had a bit of fucking dirt where you unclick them or whatever. Anyway, you could hear them fully squeaking, right? Because I was pushing up and down on them. I had them unlocked, and you could hear them squeaking, and I'm like, fucking hell. So these things actually fully do move. And then I locked the thing, and it was just rock solid. It was fucking crazy. It was pretty sick.
Really?
It's a pretty cool design, that is.
Cartwheeled the shit out of my Yamaha a few times, and they were fine. So
Really?
yeah.
So what we're saying is head to mxstore.com.
Yeah, pro taper. They'll be loving me for this. Hey, give them a rap now.
No, but I mean, yeah, I've seen those things because I think Mitch was actually saying he liked them as well.
Mitch.
I think Mitch was the one that was telling me about them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the what's the name of those? They're like the sickest triple clamps, man. They're
the X-Trig ones.
Yeah, dude, they're so legit. I want to get actually MX Store. This is what needs to happen. I actually need to get them for my CR250.
Well, they've got
they're all rubber mounted. They're rubber mounted.
And then have you seen the ones that have the air suspension in the actual triple?
I've heard about that too.
Dude,
Yeah.
So that's what Dunge ran. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're legit.
I think I did see that.
What are they called? X-Trig. We'll look them up right now. Yeah, they've got like a X. As soon as I type X into this browser, no.
With KDM we ran these other things as well, and it's a little like canister that goes from the triple clamp to the frame, and it's a steering dampener, but it's not an actual dampener. Like it doesn't stop it from getting head shake and stuff, but it like fully. It had clickers on it, and I think the Hondas have them.
Yeah,
actually.
Hondas. I was gonna say Hondas. Have them for years.
We were running them on KDM, and they got clickers on them and shit. And
so that's
crazy.
those rubber mounts.
Yeah, I lived in. And those rubber mounts, you can get like 3 different feels. So you can get one that's a bit harder, a middle one, and a full soft one. And I freaking live and swear by those things. Damn. And they don't bend as much either. Like
you know how they got more give in them.
They don't freaking, you crash your bike or whatever, you get up and your bars are twisted as fuck. That doesn't really happen as much with these bar mounts.
No, that wasn't the brand that I'm thinking about then.
They have changed brands. They don't run X-Trig. They run
who is it?
What brand?
Back when I used them, it was a Husky KDM power part. So I don't know whether it was a brand change or whatnot.
Neckin, here it is.
I thought
that's
it was
what
Neckin.
it is. Sorry to cut you off there, no. These things, dude. These triple clamps are so legit. They've got these like air cushion deals in them. So like these are pressurized, bro. So they'll actually they actually like move up and down like tiny little increments with like dampened air. And dude, they're like legit as, man. This is what Dunge was running.
But see, I don't see how that, for me, right, doing that is all well and good, but
this is for me, bro. This is for office hands.
Yeah. But see, I feel like if I was to go to that, if I was testing and I was like, oh, my front end feels like rigid or stiff or something like that, and I was doing with and then we went, oh, well, let's put these triple clamps on. It's just putting
a Band-Aid over it.
A Band-Aid over your suspension not being right, I reckon.
Yeah, well, there is 2 ways of thinking about it, though, because, so I think that if I'm remembering right, Chad is way more picky about his chassis flex than his suspension. So there's some guys that will just dial their chassis in and then the suspension is what it is, but they just want to get their chassis feeling good. Like, so you were saying that's why it makes sense when you were saying like half a turn on your swing arm.
Yeah.
So like that's the kind of stuff that he's wanting to test. So he's wanting to make sure that the axles for the swing arm, axles for the rear wheel, axles for the front wheel, tension on the triple clamps on the forks, engine mounts, all that kind of stuff is flexing the way that, because you can make a bike pretty soft just through the chassis before you actually run stiff suspension. So like if you think like, oh, it's soft and it's blowing out or whatever, that isn't always just your suspension. Like you could have a chassis that's really like, when you like, you can drive like a shitty car and you can feel it roll. Yeah. That's the feeling. But it's like a little bit harder to notice on like on a bike. But yeah, so these things, I want to get a set of these just because I don't ride that much.
I reckon that'd be really cheap.
That would be expensive.
Yeah, they look cheap, don't they?
But we're on the MX Store program, son. But yeah, so them and those X-Trig ones look really cool. I think my brother just got the X-Trig ones for his KTM. But yeah, the rubber mounts are good, eh?
I remember, I got told once that
I think
I
you
didn't
can
get
just
told.
buy these for stock triple clamps too.
Yeah, I think you might be able to. But I remember
Looks like it there.
I got told once, yeah, oh, you're just putting a Band-Aid over it. And I'm like, so fucking
cares,
what,
bro?
man?
Whatever
Like,
the
if it's
uptime
going
is,
to
yeah.
make your arms feel better, does it fucking matter if it's Band-Aiding something? Like you get your suspension good and then put them things on there, it's going to feel even better.
Yeah, that's
So
what
it's like,
that's what I was getting at. Like,
So you'd rather start with your suspension as like get that as good as you can on just like very fixed, rigid, and then start to play with
and
other
then
things, yeah.
If I feel like, oh, my front end's rigid or something like that, I'm not going to go, oh, I'm going to put these rubber mounts in and make it feel better. I'm going to go, no,
let's get the suspension done, and
there's
then
something not right. I got to get the suspension right or get it, working properly, and then I'll put that on and it'll be better again.
yeah.
Well, also like still touching on what we're saying, there's no perfect setting
That
in
is
suspension for a dirt bike.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
you are right.
We're going to go to Stanmore. I've got a Stanmore setting. Like, fuck no one has a, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're going to go to Coolum. Like, it's all so different.
I have a Coolum setting.
Yeah, you got a cool setting.
Yeah.
I have a Coolum setting. And I don't.
You live at Coolum.
Yeah, that's your house.
Wait, I've ridden there like
Yeah,
The
you would have done
last-
so many laps around that track.
well,
in your life.
in the last 2 years, I've ridden there no shit probably 5 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the most I've ridden there is like the last out of those 5 times, 3 of them or 3.
Three have been in the last week.
3 of
Yeah,
them been in
right.
like the last week and a half. So it's like,
It's cool that it's running good though.
yeah, it's just what the track or we're gonna change it. It's gonna go backwards too.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently. So, but it's been good lately. Like, it's been sick. So they've got Mick Brown back in doing it. So, and he used to rip shit out of it and water it. Some people in the club never used to really like it because it was too tough. But yeah, and it's good for a national.
Yeah, that's my pet hate in this whole world of motocross in Australia is like no doubles, no triples, no. It's like, all right, cool. Do you think Australia has every surfing world champion ever because we only let Mick Fanning surf 2-foot waves?
Yeah.
As soon as it got over 2 foot, we pulled everyone out of the fucking surf.
Yeah.
It's not how it works, man.
No.
Like, that's the mentality here. Is just like it drives me crazy, dude. I've talked about it so much. It's
And
like,
then
and then you go to America and like you go to Parla and you got fucking little mini Deegan riding a 65 on the same track as
Tomac.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, boys, can we see that this is
Yeah.
got something to do with us not being very fucking good at motocross? Like, is this easy math? Because to me, like, am I the retard?
And then it's like everyone goes, oh, America's so sick. They've got massive jumps. And then as soon as someone wants to build a jump here, oh, no, you can't do that. It's like the tunnel at Coolum. Everyone used to jump up and down saying, oh, you can't have that. Like that tunnel jump, the big one.
Yeah.
You can't have that. It's like, why not? It's fucking mad. It's sick. You get some air, people
Well,
are going to
the-
jump it.
Yeah,
The reality
spectators
is,
love it.
Yeah.
well, the reality is like, what are we doing with racing in Australia? Like, is it this? It's not at a place where you can make millions of dollars and then retire at 27 off racing dirt bikes. So you both have raced your entire lives, and you would hope that at some point you can retire from racing and then retire from like you
Everything.
retire.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so I can't do that in Australia. All right, well, I'm going to take my skills, my apprenticeship that I've done my whole life, and then I'm going to go try and have a career and then retire where I can do that. So it's like, okay, to do that, you go to Europe or you go to America. And then it's like, so what are we doing here for riders if we're not providing riders with a place where they can make money, retire, live here, and stay in this ecosystem? If we're not going to give them that, then the best thing we can do for guys like yourselves is give them the closest possible stepping stone to a place where they can do
To
that.
transition to a place. Yeah, that's right.
And that doesn't fucking happen, man. Like, and even I've said that with the Nationals, like, just build one jump a weekend where it's right in front of the crowd.
Well, we
We've
had
got
a
one
cool
for
one.
Gimpy coming.
Yeah,
There's
we
a
had
couple.
and
Really?
we had a good one at Broadford. That was kind of cool. That was a triple step up there, and that was sick. But this year's kind of there's been a couple of different things. I guess it's been better, but I don't even think it's Kevin. Like it's
It's like, yeah, I was going to say it's
Yeah.
just club level. Like,
Yeah, it's-
I remember they
it's
used to...
MA that say
Yeah.
no doubles, no
yeah,
this.
Yeah,
and
it's fucking retarded.
they're
man.
the ones like I'm just gonna stop that.
No, but it's true, man. I'll say it. You don't
Oh
have
yeah,
to,
but MA, I don't think MA is helping us as riders at all. I don't think it's helping the sport. I don't think they do. Like, it's very restricted and they're very, this is it, no doubles, no this, no that. And then where's the excitement? It's not fun watching a 30-minute race of us hitting a turn. No one wants to see us just hitting a turn. People want to see jumps.
Well,
and
like that extension at Coolum was like the coolest jump of the year.
Yeah, and everyone went there and watched the extension.
And where did everyone sit?
Right there. And kids had, cameras and this and that and loving it, But there's not enough of that in this sport, and that's in Australia anyway, and that's why
but you go to the
America's
States, dude, like, man, I've rode tons of local tracks, like, all over America. Like, when we would do filming for Verb, I'd ride, like, we'd do tons of stuff with Berriman back in the day, and I used to just go ride his bike, and man, like, I was going out there and raced my whole life here, and I was like, I'm not fucking jumping that. I've never jumped a jump that big in my life.
I know. I used to go, like, you go over there and you go to the tracks and you're like, man, that jump is massive.
Yeah.
Like, you're going, shit, I don't even know if I'm going to jump that today.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Like, yeah,
well, we're racing our biggest series here in Australia on tracks that the clubs have set up for
60s.
weekend warriors. Like the guy, like, safe for those guys. Like, you see the cool thing in America, like, they do still practice on some of the tracks that they race on, like Parlour and whatever, but like they've got practice tracks, and then they've actually got their national tracks that they only have nationals on. And I think, like, we don't have that here, and that's why, like, our tracks are just built for
come on, man. There's Appen. Appen's got a national track.
Crappen is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And the crowd goes silent.
It was mad this year. I reckon, I don't know.
Yeah,
I reckon they should have ripped it deeper, personally.
Yeah. I reckon that any time that 100% it's going to rain, you should rip the track so deep.
Yeah.
That,
when
like,
the boys on the Tuesday at the practice track tell you that it's raining and just don't rip it, just wait till Saturday.
You know why?
We're going to rip it deep.
Well, that's what Cloudy.
Deep.
Cloudy. They went there, the boys, and they're like, track's ripped, rain's coming, you're going to seal it? And they go, easier said than done.
What's your job, bro?
What do you mean? You run a spreader bar around a track a couple of times and you seal it in, fucking, it's better than, run the tractor around it and do a couple of laps of the track. It's take you half a day, not even.
No, I just reckon I reckon it's sick though, because, like, you don't get paid when you go there. And then, like, what's rad is when you're a privateer and you just fuck your bike. Like, I reckon that's the sickest thing. Because as a fan, that's what I wanted. I was like, I just want to see all these privateers just get fucked right now.
Well, so I was sitting there on the start line, and Kevin comes over to us, and this is before practice and qualifying. I'm sitting there, we're getting ready to go. Kevin goes, if it keeps raining, we're going to look at just doing 20-minute motos, not 30s. And
you're like, what's the difference? And my bike's gonna be cooked anyway.
Well, I actually, that's what he said. Or I don't even know if he said, he said 20-minute motos instead of 30s. And he's like, for the privateers. And I was sitting next to Todd. He says, that benefit? He said, how's that sound? I said, yeah, that's good for me. Like, I've got one bike. Like, and I got it literally last week. I haven't been riding. Like, I want my bike to last the season.
Brand new.
Yeah. It's brand new. And then Todd's like, I'd prefer it to be 30s. And I'm like, I looked at him, I was like, are you serious? And Kevin's like, yeah, but we're doing it for, like, guys like him. He's like, yeah, okay then. But I was like, fair enough. And no, that's what I said as well. I said, yeah, but I've only got one bike. And he's like, same. I was like, yeah, but you've got
one race bike.
I said, you've got a Husky truck. Yeah, you've got a Husky truck over there. I said, I just thought it was funny, because it was like, I'm actually glad that they called it, because it was pretty ridiculous, but
it is crazy. Like, considering I don't follow it at all, I knew that it was going to be fucked. Yeah. So, like, how do I know it's going to be fucked? If I know it's going to be fucked, it's going to be fucked.
Round one, all teams rock up with their new bikes and everything looks fresh, and straight after round one, it looks like we've just done 10 rounds and last round of Coolum.
Man, I think
they're about to go on Gumtree.
Everything's fucked. They got left out the front of the workshop with a free sign on them.
Yeah,
Take me.
It is that was crazy to me when I was just like, if I know it's gonna rain, what are we doing here? I don't know, weird one.
And national level, and let's rip the shit out of the track, and it's gonna piss down. It's smart, really smart.
Keen.
All right, so then we'll move on to the lights class. AC. the man. I'm a notorious Adam Cincerello dick rider. It's quite a well-known fact. But yeah, so he went 2-1. Cooper went 1-2. They've got it going on, eh? Like, so I spoke to Lucas Myrtle, who is Cooper's manager. He's Hunter's as well.
Yeah.
And like, dude, so it was so sick. He was saying that he's like, dude, this championship is gonna get gnarly between them two. He's like, Cooper doesn't give a fuck. Like, he only wants to win. He does not care about getting second. He doesn't want anything else. He just wants to win so bad. And he's just saying, like, the longer it goes, like, the gnarlier it's gonna get, because he's never won it overall yet.
I know.
So I think this to me, like, this battle between these two boys is probably what's getting me up early in the mornings to watch this championship, is like these two going at it.
Well,
because speed wise, man, like, Cooper's probably faster.
Yeah, at times, 100%. But yeah, I haven't even been watching the 450s. I've been watching lights races. It's been more interesting. These guys, they're like, lights guys hang it out. They're just
sending it, eh?
Send it. Because it's like they're trying to get the most out of them bikes. Like, it's a 250, you can only go so fast.
Especially at Colorado too.
Yeah. Did you see how slow they go up those rollers? Oh man, I was sitting there.
We were watching
that section was gnarly, eh?
We watched a press day video. It was actually of Todd Waters, and it was just a raw one, so we could hear his bike, and 450 was just like
struggling.
Yes.
It sounded like it had done in 100 hours, but it just had no compression. It was going nowhere.
It sounded like an old Husky, like back when they were sewing machines.
Yeah, when they were like red and white.
Back when Jake Wright was racing them.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
when they were a chainsaw.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got... Yeah, those boys went at it. What did you think of... Let's see if we can pull the Adams thing up. So... fuck, I can never spell his last name. Let's see if I can get it right. Cianciarulo. Yeah. Colorado. Did you see like the bit where he cut the track?
Yeah, I seen it.
And I honestly...
What's your take on the protest?
I don't see what they're protesting.
No, I don't either.
I think that they're protesting that... I don't know what they're protesting as. Like, is it that... Are they trying to get it as AC was a distraction because he jumps in like in front of Cooper and then lets him by?
That's what we read. Well, that's what we were reading. We were hearing something. Oh no, sorry, we weren't reading. We were watching a video, and that's Justin was having like an interview, and that's the argument he was trying to say is that you know, like, was it a lap later or maybe two turns later or something?
Nah, dude, it was like 3 laps later.
Yeah, well,
he reckons
they reckon he reckons that it got him out of his rhythm or whatever, and you know, took his focus off. But that's on him, not freaking, you know.
I think you just have to you have to make it's like, what does the rule say? But it's like you have to enter at the next safest opportunity without gaining an advantage, right? So it's like, I mean, those so this is the section where it was. So you can see that that bunting goes the whole way up that turn and the whole way around. Dude, that was loose, bro.
Yeah.
I reckon his ass puckered a little just there.
Oh, he almost ate it.
I know mine would have.
Man, did you see how slow they were going up those rollers by the second last one?
Yeah, that was a weird crash too.
Who is that?
I think that was
Jordan.
it was Jordan. So, dude, this is the quickest goggle change I've ever seen. How good was that?
Who was that?
That was Mint.
Is that Nichols?
Yeah. So, so it's like, if you're looking at it being the safest way to like re-enter the track or whatever, if you've got all that bunting, like, you got to think like it's a hazard if you drag that stuff on the track. It's a hazard for you if it gets caught in your back wheel stop. So like, there is a lot of issues that does come with jumping, getting back on the track with all that bunting. Like, that shit is everywhere, dude. So like, I do get it. Yeah, this is the section here. Like, it's the whole way up. Sorry, we're just watching the recaps here. So we're in the first 450 moto now.
Was it the first or second? No, it was the second moto that the incident happened, eh?
Yep.
Yeah. So it was the second moto, because that's the one that decided. See, now how is this so slow?
They made it look difficult.
They made it look way harder than Nichols did.
I reckon his goggle strap was like too
you
tight or
think
something.
He always runs his goggle straps so tight.
Can you imagine in that situation if you were there how hard it would be to get that bike in neutral first go? Like, think about it, right?
Yeah.
Your mind would be running that fast, and he's got to try and come in, make sure he doesn't stall the bike.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think like that's like normal, but Colt just did it so well. So yeah, that's when that's when Ferris just got past.
That line was awesome.
See, he just makes like crazy mistakes, eh? I mean, obviously it's gnarly. All right, so yeah, we should be seeing this this little deal here now with Adam. It's crazy how the track come back after the rain. Like, it was pissing down, man. Like, look at this. Is the second moto. This looks like a completely different day. So yeah, Moto 2 start. Dude, those star bikes are so good off the start, eh? That gear is the ugliest gear I've ever seen.
I remember I would rather wear the freaking old Go
all right,
Rat
so
gear.
here it is here. So yeah, look, banners. No, well, he still wheelies a banner. But so he said that the gap was. We'll go
you can
back
clearly
a bit.
see he checked up as well there.
The gap gets bigger.
Yeah, so that's what Adam said is like he was only 0.9 back because they've all got the Lit Pros or whatever.
Yeah.
So he was 0.9 back when he went off the track. So right there, dude, he's like not even.
He's right on him.
And then when he re-entered the track, he waited and it was like 1.7. So, but you can see like Cooper gives him the look back.
And then shakes the head too.
But like rolls that jump. So that's
you
clearly.
can clearly see he waited for a while.
Yeah. And then this is just pressure. Like,
that's
I
just
think
his own fault.
Yeah. And I think that Adam just put together like 4 really good laps. I think it was 4 laps after. But he just put together really, really solid laps after that. And like when you haven't won the overall before and you're in a position to go
to get it
1-1, it's like
you can still see both sides.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, I've had the same thing happen to me pretty much. Like I've dealt with protests and off-track excursions before. One's getting
you cut the track all the time, you dog.
Apparently, fucking everyone was. I have freaking mates that bloody were telling me to get a set of scissors on as my butt patch because I was going to cut the track at some stage. I was just like, thanks, boys. Cheers.
That was all going down.
But yeah, sometimes teams like they'll just sometimes go to different levels to get that number one, that race win or the overall or whatever.
I thought for Justin, because like I'm a huge Justin Cooper fan. Like I'm an AC fan, I'm a Justin Cooper fan. I think they're the 2 most exciting dudes in the class at the moment, and I think they're going to be the guys we're watching all year. And it seems like if I'm him and I want to make a bit of a statement into where like my mentality is at for the season, I'd go, you know what? Fuck the protest. Yeah. We're tied on points. I don't want to win with that. I'll come back and I'll beat you next weekend. So I think like if you start talking like that, because like if you think about how good Coop is, like that's the kind of shit Cooper will say at a press conference. And then that's this thing that slowly it'll get in your head. Yeah. And then you sit on that for a week and then you don't say that and you play down like, I don't want to win like that. I know I can beat him. I'll just beat him. I will just go 1-1 next weekend. So it's like, to me, I almost think in a situation where there's no points on the line, like unless they were trying to get Adam docked points, but it's like they were so far out in front anyway that, it's not like it would have made too big of a difference points wise. But I just think that the move is just to go, nah, don't protest. It's all good. The points are still like even. They traded places and go and make a statement and say like, I'm gonna win my first overall next weekend anyway. So who cares?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was like if they had won the protest and Cooper went 1-1, it was like he had the red plate. or something.
He would have. Yeah, he actually would have. Yeah, that's true.
But if it's like 1 or 2 points, like I know every single point counts, but if you're tied on points or whatever, like, man, the color of your background and your number don't mean shit. And we all know sometimes how heavy that red board can be. So I would have just fucking left it.
And Cooper hasn't really had a red plate, has he? Has he had
Could be heavy.
Ever had a red plate?
I don't think he has.
No, I don't think he has. No, because he. I was wondering if he got it in Supercross briefly, but I don't think he
I don't
did
think
because
he
it
did.
just went.
Yeah.
Chase Sexton got it,
Yeah.
and then it went. Then he won the title. But yeah, so I guess that's kind of. We'll go for a quick look down the. Yeah, oh, dude, Mick Mosman, shout out. He's the sickest dude ever. So he's
a funny dude.
Yeah, I
Oh,
keep
man,
hearing
he's
the same thing.
He's the man, bro. So that's who Jats lives with when Jats is over in the States. Like, nicest kid ever. And then Bobby Hewitt, the guy that owns Rockstar KTM's the nicest, Rockstar Husky, is the nicest guy ever as well. So anytime anyone from that team does well, I'm stoked because they're such good people. But yeah, so shout out to Mick, and he's been super fast, but he's just had crashes. Like he's made some bad decisions at times too, which could have been avoided. But I mean, yeah, he's still young.
He is still young.
So yeah, Dylan Ferrandis, I thought he would have been a lot better, but again, it's like how much it. Fuck this thing. Yo, we're back. The microphone's tripping. Yeah, I've sort of said the same thing about Ferrandis with Coop. Like, who cares, dude? You won Supercross. Who cares?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's definitely. I don't think a 250 regional title means the same as what Coop did. Obviously,
Yeah, for sure.
Coop got the top of the pops.
Definitely expected him to do a bit better though, eh?
Yeah, I
So
think
far.
so for sure.
And he was talking like he was going to go out there and smoke him, like that was his plan. So,
and dude, he's so good.
He is.
Yeah, that's the
so
thing.
good.
He is a good motocross rider, obviously coming from Europe too. Like, that's just what they do, and it is surprising that he hasn't. You know, he kind of just been flying under the radar. I haven't heard much of him so far yet.
Yeah. So, Chase Sexton, I think. Feel like Chase is like the kind of dude that could really be like a title contender for like every title for the next couple of years. I think like you want to talk about like style and technique. I love his.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, really, really good.
He's pretty neat when he rides. So.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it's like what we were saying about Marv. Maybe he's a tiny bit too neat.
Yeah, but you know, if he's got the aggression there, then it could all come together. But.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Hunter going 10-7. He just couldn't get starts, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on yet either, eh?
I don't know. He rode awesome at Parla. Don't get me wrong. But he also did a lot of laps around there leading into it.
Yeah, true.
And he did do that race there as well. That amateur race. I don't think many people know about that. But yeah, he did a race there as well, like a couple of weeks before. So I guess that's the place he's been testing for the last 5 months when everyone else has been riding Supercross.
Yeah, true.
So, you expect him to do good. But maybe it's just that, he was feeling it that day because he's been doing so many laps there. But when he's gone to Thunder Valley, it's a little different, and altitude and all these.
I was going to say
things.
that's probably the first time he's ever raced at altitude too.
Yeah,
it's no joke there, dude. It's pretty gnarly.
Well, that's what I was talking to Todd this morning when we saw him, because Todd just got back, and he said that it's crazy. Like first gear on his 450, he still starts.
Thing was going nowhere up the start straight.
Yeah, he just said it's like nuts, and like he can do. He was saying that he's fit, he can do 30s easy and stuff like that. But when you do hill sprints and your throat starts to burn and stuff like that, he said he done a couple of sprint laps on press day, and like he was getting that straight away. And he said, it's crazy. And I know a lot of those dudes get, like, not a lot of them, but a couple of them get altitude sickness, and they reckon
Ando struggles real bad with it.
Yeah, they reckon that smashes you, like, real
it's like
bad.
I've been to Colorado heaps of times, and that I've filmed at that track 3 or 4 years. And walking with cameras up those hills, man, I'm cooked. Like, you just get super puffed. And then we actually went for Christmas one year and went snowboarding, and Maddie and my mum were just like, they said there was like they were hungover for 2 weeks.
Really?
Like every day, wake up with a headache, feeling sick. So yeah, some people at altitude just jacked with you. So yeah, Shane McElrath. The rest is like, guys just aren't doing as good as what they should.
I feel like Amart's pretty. Don't know what's happening there either.
No, that wasn't a great weekend.
Were you just going to say Suzuki?
I didn't say anything.
You were thinking it.
Ty Muspel's been doing pretty good, 6:16, but obviously like a 16 is a bit of a weird one there. It's sort of hard to know what goes. Like he's riding really, really good. And then Willie obviously struggled with some starts. And
how good's his photo still in the Serco shirt?
Yeah.
Look at that, eh?
What about
Gab will be
what
pumped.
about, can we just take a second and appreciate Christian Craig's respectable 18th overall?
Yeah, on a factory Honda.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and especially after missing the outdoor season. Weird deal there.
Or Thomas Covington's respectable 26th overall.
What is... Dude, I need to...
Dobson
I need
was
to
just
figure
saying,
it out, man.
Dobson was saying something on the way down here that he's heard something about Epstein-Barr or something.
Yeah, he's got it. So he made a post this morning, or the other day or something, that he's got Epstein-Barr.
Are you the Perez Hilton of motocross right now?
Me,
Fucking
apparently.
knows everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're the gossip queen. I love it. You're coming back on this every week, bro.
Yeah, he's got Epstein-Barr. So, and man, that's hard. Like,
Why race then?
But sometimes you don't know. You don't, like, I got it the week before Murray Bridge. So I've only just gotten over it, and I just didn't think anything of it, whatever. But I was like just tired, fatigued, felt average. Like I was just like, I just need a couple good nights sleep. Got to the race, and I was struggling. Like day one, just the second moto. So the first moto I DNF because I had a first turn crash and I broke my rear wheel. And then the second
you've only
moto,
got one.
yeah. I had to. And then I went out for the second one, and I moved up to 8th because I had an average start, and then
Right behind Christian Craig.
by lap like 4 or 5, just started going backwards. Like I couldn't push. I just had nothing. Like I wasn't puffed. I wasn't anything. It was just
flat.
Nothing. Like I was going backwards, and I ended up getting lapped. I got
Backwards
passed.
is an understatement.
Yeah, like I got lapped. I didn't even crash. I just got lapped, and I would have been like over 10 seconds lap slower than everyone. I couldn't. I was just rolling around.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then I come in, and everyone was like, "What's wrong? Like what happened?" I was like, "I don't know. Like I don't know what's wrong." And I was like, "Nah, it's alright. I'm gonna have good sleep tonight. Wake up tomorrow, redeem myself."
That's a good weekend to be cooked, double header.
And then the next day, I went out there and we had back to backs. I done the first moto, like the first back to back. I went back to the start line, and I sat there, and I was almost not going to take off for the second gate drop because I was that cooked, and I was just stuffed. Like I had nothing, and I said, and my arms were blown up, like massive arm pump. I couldn't even pull my clutch, and I said to my mechanic, I said, "Man, I think if I do this race, I think I'm gonna have to let everyone go because I'm not gonna be able to pull in my controls into the first turn." Like
That's
I was
so gnarly.
that bad. And then the last moto, I just kind of just rolled around again. I think I got like 12th, and then I went home. I got a blood test, and I was waiting for results. And that week, I slept like I was sleeping 17 hours a day. I'd wake up, like I'd go to bed at 8 o'clock. I'd wake up at 8 o'clock. I'd eat brekkie, lay on the couch, like fall asleep, or I'd go back to bed and just go to sleep. I'd wake up at 12, eat lunch, and then I'd go kick back on the couch, like watch some TV or something, fall asleep for like 2 hours. From like 3 to 5, I'd wake up at 5, eat dinner, have a shower, straight back to bed again. And I was not in bed, I mean out cold in bed, like sleeping. Not just laying there because I'm stuffed. Like I'd feel okay, and then I'd just pass out like that. And that happened. I was like that for 3 weeks, and then I've only like just started coming good now. So, man, if he's had this for the last, let's say it lasts for 3 weeks, like it's 1 to 4 weeks. Symptoms last for like a month, 2 months. So if Covington's had this since the start of, since round 1, then it explains a lot. That's why his results are obviously so shit. But yeah, man, it's not a good time.
I just wonder why. Fun. I wonder why you'd race then.
Well, I don't understand. Maybe he's only just got a blood test now because you actually don't feel completely stuffed. Like you actually feel okay. It's not like you have a headache and you're sick and everything like that. You might get a bit fluey, but you just have nothing in the tank.
Yeah.
Like you just nothing at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like even with how much I've been training lately, like I feel those days where I just get there and I'm trying my hardest, but like I'm just getting steamrolled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, like I feel like I couldn't try any harder, but there's just nothing there to like or it feels like you got nothing to give.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's just it's got to be like a balance that you find as an athlete between your nutrition and sleeping and
Yeah.
active recovery and training, and like, you know, it's it's easy to run the wheels off the wagon.
Yeah, and then if you don't rest enough, like you don't give yourself enough time to rest, and you start feeling good, and then you start training again, you fall because there's no antibiotics for Epstein-Barr or anything like that. Your body has to create like its own kind of thing to fight it off. Like that's what it does. Creates its own medicine, let's say. And I was like, if you come back and you start training and push the limits too early, you fall back into being sick again. Like you start feeling good and then you just fall straight backwards into being like, you know, sleeping and everything again. And then there's like this cycle where you just like start feeling better, then you go backwards, and you start feeling better, and you go backwards. And that's what happened with, I remember Chad got it one year in motocross, and he just took the rest of it off because you actually have to give yourself so much time to rest. And I thought that I was pushing it because I started to feel good there 1 week, and I was like, oh, I'm feeling good, I'm gonna go for a cycle. Went for a cycle, I was straight back like the next 2 days, cooked again, like done. I was like, I felt good I actually felt not too bad while cycling, but I just too early and put me back like another week. And then I was just made sure I'm good. But now like I'm really good and I'm sweet, but I don't have a problem with it now. So, but who knows? I might come back in the second half if I have a shit result. I'll blame it on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just like, I got
something good to fall
I got
back
that
on.
out again.
Yeah,
I got that out, boy.
Yeah.
So your deal, I guess, before we sort of wrap everything up, you kind of had a pretty interesting start to the year. Didn't really have a ride, and then you put something together pretty last minute, eh? Yeah.
Well, the thing was, I had a ride.
Did you?
I had a deal done with Suzuki, and is
there a Suzuki team at all now?
Well, there's KSF still, so they're doing their thing. But my deal, I wanted to do kind of run things my own way, and so I had a deal lined up with Suzuki, and it was all going ahead. And the bikes, you know, a little bit of money, not much. You know, it was more of a bonus kind of program. And it was sick. It was going to work good. I could get my own sponsors, you know, have relationships with people that I could have relationships with, like, you know, that I wanted to surround myself with. Like, you know, Sam, you know, all these other guys, you know, my mechanic, Porthy, everyone. And it kind of, they sent the contract through, and it got dragged out, and I said no to all these, you know, I had a bit of a Yamaha thing kind of lined up, like a little satellite, like a privateer deal. On the cards, and I said no to all these people, and because I thought I had Suzuki because it was kind of my best deal and I wanted to be Suzuki's rider. Anyway, they sent the contract through, I signed it, but they didn't sign their half. I sent it back. Next day, everything got flipped. They flipped everything, and then they said that, you know, the bike has to be done this, the bikes in my contract said they come from Suzuki Australia, but then all of a sudden the bikes had to go through a bike shop, and the bike shop had to put it on their floor plan. So it puts pressure on the bike shop, and then all this other shit got involved, and like all this other shit got changed too. And eventually, I was trying to make it work. I found a dealer, and then they come back to me and they said, "Oh no, sorry, it's not there no more." And I had nothing because I said no to everyone.
And how long was this before the Nationals?
This would have been, I think this contract thing all happened like probably start of February.
And when's the National start?
Was the 16th of March.
Okay.
So I had it was probably middle of February, and then I was ringing people trying to make things happen because I just got nothing, and they just said nah, they couldn't even offer me bikes anymore, and I was like, whoa. They're like, oh, we can offer you bikes at a price, and I was like, I got no money. That's the point of, you know, the bonus program and everything, because I've got no money. It's broke. And anyway,
you're coming off a pretty good Supercross season, really.
Yeah, like last year, I actually missed 2 rounds last year with Supercross, and I still finished 8th in the championship. Yeah, which is like still, I don't know how, but it did. So I was trying to search for something and see what options I could get bikes, and that's basically what it come down to. I was just trying to get bikes at this point, and no one even had allocation to give me bikes. No one. I had a little bit of a thing lined up with Honda, but we couldn't come to an agreement because I it just wasn't going to work. We just couldn't we couldn't meet in the middle, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, it seems like with Honda, you've got to be fly city or whatever.
Basically.
Like it's so restricted.
Yeah, and I couldn't make it work, and yeah, it's nothing against them. Yeah, like I was like I appreciate them willing to put something out there to help me. But yeah, it just didn't come together. But that got dragged out for about 4 weeks as well.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden we're start of March, and I've got no bike, and I'm sitting there going, what am I going to do? And I was sitting there, I wasn't even going to go race round one. I was going to go work and try and get ready for Supercross. But doing that, everyone's already done their deals. Like the teams already have their eye on riders by the time Supercross comes around. Like the deals are already half in motion. Yeah. So there's no spots left when it comes to Supercross.
So then you start working, you start getting mates at work, you start fucking going on the piss with mates that are working,
and then you
got time, and next thing you know, and you got some chick from Cool and Pregnant. And
the helm.
No.
What's on the other side of the highway to Coolum? Where all the fucking scruffies live.
Nambour.
One of them chicks. You got one of them chicks pregnant.
But yeah, and then last minute, I actually saw like Paul Barrick from MPE, and he sponsored me like all my life with suspension and everything, and he said, if you need a hand, let me know. And I was like, okay, no worries. And I was trying to make something happen, and then I was like, I'll ring Paul, see what he was getting at if I needed a hand. And he's basically gone out there. He got a bike for me, and this was like 8 days out of round one. And I was like, and I had people that were high up in the sport telling me I was crazy to go round one, and I was like, nah, I'm going there. Like I'm going to go there, and just whatever happens. I'm going to be on the start line. And for my sponsors, it's not even for me. It was for my sponsors and people that help me. I'm going to go there and do it. And I went there, and I was lucky it was mud. Because we got one moto, it was 20 minutes, so I was like,
yeah, I can do this.
And I'm actually good in the mud too. Like I qualified third, and everyone was like, whoa, and I was just like, I was just like, yeah, that's right, like still here, bitches. And then I was actually in third for a few laps of the race. Like I was in third for like all the way up to like there was like 2 or 3 laps to go. And I dropped it at the top of the hill, like on one of the tabletops going up the top, and I just slipped out. I actually slipped off the back of the bike because there was that much mud on my seat.
Really?
I couldn't hang on, and I had my legs off paddling, and I grabbed a handful and just looped it. But yeah, I ended up 5th in that, and I'm glad that I went there now. Like I'm pumped. And then after that, I was just like, because I just literally went there, and I was like, if I'm inside top 10. It's a good day. Like it's good points, and I could do that. Like I know that I could be inside top 10. And then I've just been trying to build from that. And the next 2 rounds were good. I actually surprised myself at Wonthaggi because that's a tough track, and it rained a lot, and we done 2:30s there that day. And I was actually, whatever I've been doing in the off season, like I've been training my ass off. I didn't have a bike, but I've been training my ass off the bike. And what I've been doing was obviously working because I went to Wonthaggi, and I was I was fit, like as fit as everyone else that was out there, and I was actually surprised. Like I didn't really hit a brick wall or anything. I was charging till the end, but I just I had a bike problem. Like my bike was overheating, and I pulled in the mechanics area. Because I was like, I was actually in 4th, and I pulled in the mechanics area, and I said to the mechanic, I said, what do I do? Like, my bike's going to blow up. Because I was like probably 15 minutes in the race, 20 minutes in the race. And he said, just keep fucking riding the thing. If it blows up, I'll buy you a new one. But like, I was thinking about the second motor, because if it blows up, I don't have a bike. So I was like, what do I do? So we're trying to clean out the radiators, and I was in the pits, like in the mechanics area for like 55 seconds or something. And I still ended up getting like 10th or no, like 8th in that moto.
Yeah.
So I like made a pit stop, everything, still got like inside top 10. And I was like, man, like I'm actually not that far behind. Yeah, I'm actually not that far behind than what I thought I was, like with my fitness and stuff. And then Broadford, like I felt good at Broadford. I got good starts. There was a couple of things that I lacked, like intensity on the first lap, but I was like top 5 all day. Super pole again. And yeah, I've got one bike. It's the one bike. I'm just driving to the races, driving home.
So you're practicing on the bike you race as well?
The thing's got 60 hours on it now. So,
and it looks mint.
Yeah, and coming into the second half of the season. So,
and wasn't Sam like giving you money for fuel and shit?
Well, yeah, Sam gave me So for Murray Bridge, for Murray Bridge, I had someone to take my bike for me because I was like, man,
I'm not driving that far.
And I'm wearing tear on my car. I was like, I can't do it. I can't afford tires and shit in my car. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna, like, I'll see if someone can help me out and take my bike for me. It's only one bike. And I had someone, lucky enough, the Rofe.
Can you take my bike? I got one bike and a set of T-bars, and that's it.
And I was lucky enough.
I'll buy a gas can when I get there.
Yeah, basically. No, I can't afford that.
No, you borrowed that too.
Yeah,
you used someone else's.
Yeah, I had our family take it for me, the Rowe family, and Sam paid for my flights, which was sick. And then Mum had to come with me that one just to help because it was double header. So her flights went on the credit card, and she's meant to pay me back for him, but I'm still waiting. But it's alright. I don't know where she lives.
Yeah, so that's what you were saying at lunch, that you pretty much like just doing this whole season on a credit card, and if it doesn't work out, you're just going to get a job and pay the credit card off.
That's exactly right. So yeah, I have people that, I have people that help me with, financially, that, well, it's only a little bit, but basically it's run out. Like, that money's only goes so far when I'm going to Melbourne, here, there, back, everywhere. I basically run out now. So what I've got is a credit card. And so it's like I've got a loan basically for the rest of the year. So I'll just keep whatever I need. I'm trying to use that, and that'll get me through. And then if nothing works out at the end of the year, I'll go get a job and pay the thing off. So it's kind of like I'm taking a risk, but you need to be all, like, in motocross, like, you need to be all in, or you're all out. And I'm not going to go do it half-hearted. I'm not going to go try and work a couple of days a week and then try and race at the same time, because you're never going to be able to compete, with even, like NATO, like, he's training all the time, every day. Whether it's even on a rest day, he's still training, and you just can't compete with that. When you're trying to work and, ride and everything, you just get too run down. So you're never going to beat those guys doing it. So that's why, I've just, my focus is purely on motocross. I'm doing it on a budget. I live at home still, which is good. It costs me fuck all. I ride private tracks, so it doesn't cost me $50 to ride QMP. Dude, that's like when Jess
was living at ours, man. Like, fucking the money he spent on tracks, I was just like, dude, this is bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
and everything's hours away. Like,
there's
just
nothing
travel
close.
fucking 10 minutes up the road to ride, fuel and everything.
Yeah, like, for me to go from Sunny
in the
Coast
car all day.
Yeah, and for me to go from, like, Sunny Coast to Willowbank and then home, it's $100 a day. It's $55 to ride, and then it's $50 in in diesel, really. And then, some money, I might buy lunch on the way home, let's say. It's easy, $100. It's probably over.
Yeah.
And then you ride 3 or 4 times a week. Ends up being a $500 a week just
in costs
to
associated
ride.
with riding.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do it on a budget, like ride some private tracks and stuff like that. Sometimes it sucks. It's not prepped. I'm not riding a prep track all the time, but like we said earlier, I don't find the benefit in practicing on a prep track. We don't race on a prep track. So I feel like I've got a little program work. Like, I'm taking a risk, and my little program is kind of working. It's kind of a shame I got sick there with Murray Bridge, but I feel like I'm good now. And like I said to everyone, I feel like everyone's going to see the best of me in the second half of the season, which is we're coming into now. And like, honestly, like, me and NATO, we've been putting in the work these last couple of weeks. So hopefully it shows in the second half. But like, with the both of us, because when he wins, I'm going to be the first one there to give him a high five when he goes across the finish line. And
it's cool that seems to be like more of a thing these days. Like, you get guys that are, like Kenny and Adam, kind of got that relationship going. It's like you get a guy, like a rabbit to chase down on a lights bike. Seems like there's a lot of dudes doing that, eh?
Yeah, it works because he's on a 250, but it keeps me on my toes. He's still fast. He's fast as. He's one of the best lights riders in the country, and when he's at his best, I put him up there with some of the best lights riders in the world. So it's good to have him. He's keeping me on my toes, and he's good off the bike as well. Like, he's hard worker and everything like that, and I'm a hard worker. So I think that at the moment we're working really good together. And yeah, hopefully it benefits the both of us coming into the second half of the season. And yeah, it's good because, you know, you can train and you ride on your own all the time and stuff like that, but you fall
stuck in the groove.
Yeah, you just fall into a rut. You know, you don't know. You don't, if you don't have someone there, you don't know if you can go faster or not, because you know, him there, you might.
And then
be,
when you've got a down day, then you got someone you still don't want to get beat.
Yeah, he's you know, kicking my ass and, you know, telling me to hurry the fuck up or something like that, you know, as well. So it keeps, like I said, it's keeping me on my toes, and it's good.
Have you had a season like that before, where you've been training with a dude on 450 as much as you have?
Yeah, 2014, I did a year with Jake, and he was on Jake Moss, and he was on 450 riding for Cowie. It was right before he just went into his big long list of injuries that he's just kind of gone through. But yeah, it was sick. Like, pretty much just doing the same thing as like what Jesse and I are doing at the moment. We just pretty much lived with Jake, and yeah, we just rode, trained together, ate together. Fucking the only thing we did was not sleep together.
Yeah.
So yeah, like everything, man. I did everything together, and fucking I was like, I did some pretty bad shit that year, like good wise. Obviously my results were sick, and then that was the year that I went to Swan Hill as a wildcard rider in the 250 class. I was a under 19s rider.
Oh, okay. So you were still under 19s.
Yeah, I was under 19s and went to Swan Hill and moved up to the MX2 class just for one round and won it. It was fucking bizarre, but it was sick. And like, I do agree with, like, you fall into a rut or something.
That's when you're on that cheetah bike, eh?
Yes, 252 straight. There was plenty of them that year though. Yeah, I believe, like, it's happened to me before. Like, I go to the track and ride by myself, or not by myself, but don't have someone pushing me or have like a carrot to chase. Yeah. And I remember one time, it was actually Todd Waters' dad. We were at Stanmore and I was just out there riding by myself, and I felt like I was gone. I felt like I was riding good, but then he come out, his dad come out and pulled the pit board out for me, and then started, like, I didn't ask him to, he just did it. And then I started seeing the times, and then the first lap, I remember the first lap he pulled it out. Like, I think it was like a 1 minute 17 lap time. And then I ended up, once I could see the times and chase something or push for something, I ended up getting it, like, dropping like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, just because I had something and I could see what I was doing, and, you know, like, you know, had something to gauge off. And yeah, it's just like, it's the same with training as well. Like, if you're riding and training by yourself, you're like, you might think you're pushing hard, but if I got Jesse pushing me on the cycle or pulling away from me on the cycle, it's like, I'm fucking not gonna let that happen. Do you know what I mean? So you push a bit harder. So
yeah, and it's good too. Like, I mean, I find in my training, like today, I just didn't feel that good. I didn't really feel like training to start with, and then you get there, and then by the time it gets to sparring, it's like you know the pecking order of the gym. Like, I know who I can beat, I know who shouldn't beat me. Like, you kind of know, and then you roll with someone that, like, they really shouldn't beat me, but then they just start putting it on you, and you're like, well, whether I want to be here or not, I need to get this fucking dude off me. You know, so it's like, I think that it's in those days where you don't really feel like training, then that's where it's like, makes a big difference, because it's like, as a competitor, there's a part of you that's just, you just don't want to, like,
get beaten.
And like, I knew I didn't feel great today. I knew I wasn't on my A game. I knew all that stuff, and I still did not want to let a guy beat me that I don't think should beat me.
Yeah. Ego's way too high, eh?
Ego, bro. Yeah. And I mean, but it's like, that's what you need as a competitor.
Definitely.
Like, unfortunately, like, and I mean, especially with what we do with, you know, it's a martial art, and they talk about no egos and stuff. And it's like, I don't have an ego against the person that I'm competing against, but it's just that personal competition of like, this is where the level is. And I'm not holding if I drop a standard, then I'm not keeping myself accountable.
That happens to me all the time. Like, it happened, it was only just last week. Like, I was out practicing and I had my mechanic with me that day, and he was on the pit board or whatever, but I was out there all day and I was moto, and Jay Wilson was there too, and we were motoing together, and, like, you know, you can gauge or whatever, and it gives you something to push for, whether he was quicker than me or I was quicker than him that lap or whatever. And I remember I went out to do my last moto, and I'd actually thought Jay left to go home, and I was out there by myself riding, and I'm like, I felt so shit. Even though I had Teasy there, like telling me my times and that, I just felt so shit and got bored. And I was like, track was fucked. I was like over it. And then I was only 10 minutes in, and then I fucking out of the corner of my eye, I seen Jay was out there, and then I was just like, fuck, I feel shit. I don't want to get my ass kicked here.
Yeah.
So then I just, all of a sudden, I was just like, I piped up and I was fucking going again. It was good. It was weird, but it's just fucking crazy how that shit works. Hey, like
it's just a mental game.
Yeah.
The whole thing is, you know, your body's gonna do what your brain tells it to.
Yeah.
And I think that there's definitely times where you think the opposite, where you're like, oh, well, I can't do it because my body's not letting me do it. But it's like, you know, you've always got more than what you think you do.
Yeah.
That's like there's an old like Navy SEAL rule where they, like, Navy SEALs basically, like, if you go, okay, now do as many chin-ups as you can, and then let's say it's 6, that's like your max, and you're like fucking hanging off the thing and you're dead, you're like, I cannot do one more chin-up. Then their rule is that they've all figured out that over years of Navy SEALs being spit out of their program is that you've always got 40% more than what you think you do. So if you did 6, then you can actually do 10. Like, physically, it's possible to do 40% more than when you quit initially. And they said that's just standard for everyone. So I've been trying to think about that a bit lately when, like, I'm getting tired and been training heaps, or I want to skip the last sparring session. More. You're like, yeah, you still have 40%.
I don't know if we had 40% after this last week.
Think about it next time and let me know. Like, if you are cooked, you know, doing a moto, and then just tell yourself, like, all right, so I'm at 60%. Let's do the rest of this. 40.
Well, like, Coolum on Wednesday, we done 3 20s, and like they were motos.
That's hard, man.
3 20s at Coolum, and then Ben Shadell come over and he's like, oh, last ride, do you want to do a 30? And I was like, oh.
We're already 3 motos deep here.
And we're like, yeah, all right. Track's rough. And we went out there and we busted out a 30 at the end of the day. And that was like, that. But any other day, like back in the day, I probably just would have packed it up at 20, but after the 20s. But now, like at the moment as well, I keep trying to remind myself, this is mine and Nato's preseason right now. Like, we didn't get a preseason because he was injured. And this is us now, like, where all these other guys might be just maintaining, but like we're got our head down and we're catching up now. And I don't want to just play catch up. Like, I want to pass everyone too. So it's we're definitely not doing 60%. I don't think.
Not even fuck spiders.
Yeah, well, this week,
we're not fucking the dog. We're definitely getting after it.
This week, and that's what even Paul Barrick said to me. He said, make sure you have a few days rest. I'm like, I said you can't rest and be the best.
Yeah, that's true. So who are the people that are helping you out this year? I just want to give you a chance to shout them out before we wrap this up.
Well, I've got Paul Barrick. Without him, I wouldn't even be, from MPE, I wouldn't even have a bike. So, massive shout out to him. And then, everyone on top of that, I've got, Gary from Bell.
Legend.
Yeah, he is a legend. And then
Gary from Australia.
And then everyone, over at Unit. MX Stores come on board now too, which is awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
They're helping me a lot. And then Pingelly Trucks, they're a family friend they've been a family friend for ages. And
very
Jake,
good people.
Yeah, Jake and his old man. Without them, I wouldn't have got through this first half of the season. So them.
Samuel,
he repays the Pengellies by putting their heads on his butt patch.
Yeah, I do that. But then, Mr. Fist himself.
Yeah, AKA the Glove Lord.
The Glove Lord, Sam. Without he's been a help too, and he's always stuck behind me. So, him.
Well, he's the reason you're on here. He just said to me, he's like, dude, why don't you get Jesse on? He's having a sick year. And I was like, dude, I should for sure get him on to come do this. So
he is a good man. But him. 92 Decals. My mate Mick from there, he's helped me out heaps as well. Even just. Not just with stickers, like just being there for me. And it was pretty dark at the start of the year. So, he's been a big help, and even with guidance wise. Massive shout out to him as well. And Mum. Mum's put up with everything with this year, and washing my dirty gear and trying to help when she can, and then juggle 2 other boys, and then have this stinky guy in the house as well.
She loves having me at your house more than you do.
Yeah, I know. And then even like, you know,
I feel like that with Jats and me.
Yeah.
I reckon
Jace
Nat Dobb would
peace out.
replace him with me anyway.
For sure.
10 times over.
No way, you can't cook. I can. Yeah.
And then, so what about you? How are you going this year?
Yeah, not too bad. Like as Jesse said, we both had no preseason. Like I had to really push the doctor to let me ride before.
What was your injury?
So I broke my leg. Well, I broke my leg.
Supercross,
At
that was right
yeah.
in front of me.
Yeah.
That
Well, I broke
sucked.
my leg there, and
that was one of those fucked crashes, man. That was just
the
so
worst.
awkward, eh?
I can put that down to the shittest, smallest crash I've ever had, and it's given me my worst injury.
I thought you did your knee when you did it.
Well, I did. So,
okay.
So I broke.
Because it looked like you did your knee.
I broke my tibia, but at the very top. So like.
Oh yeah.
I completely mangled my knee joint. The whole thing was like wrecked, and like my meniscus was like jammed down in the bone, like in a part of my bone, and like it was a long surgery, and like got some dirty scars from it, and like I can't still right now. It's not 100%. Like, well, it is good, but like it's more than good enough to let me ride, but it's like my range of motion and that in my knees just not 100% anymore, and I don't think it will be anymore.
Did you have surgery on the meniscus?
Yeah, I had to get it all reattached, everything. Like, I had to get it all fixed. So
because mine's cooked in my knee at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Have fun with that. I've done a meniscus.
Yeah, it's like I can't bend, like, so I can straighten it, but I can't bend it all the way fully closed.
See, I can't even I can't fully lock my knee out, and like coming back's pretty good. I can't fully lock it out, but like hyperextension.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so the doctor, I was like ringing him. I'm like, man, I got a race. He's like, when you got a race? And I'm like, I got a race on 17th of March or whatever. And he's like, oh yeah. And like I was in coming towards the end of Feb, and I'm like, fucking, I still had like, it was like 4 weeks until my next appointment, and my next appointment was like 4 days or like a week, the week before round one. I'm like, I can't wait that long. And I was cycling in that real early, like I was really pushing the limit without trying to hurt it. Anyway, I ended up ringing the doctor. I didn't even go and see him. I rang him on his personal number, and I said, dude, I really need to start riding. Like, fucking, it's getting to that point now. And he's just like, he asked me a few questions. I went and got an x-ray, and obviously the bone had fully healed for a while, but it was just like range of motion and shit like that. And he said, all right, yep, all good. Like, I'll give you a clearance. He cleared me, and I rode, but I rode 4 times before the first race, and I could only ride. So like if I rode on a Tuesday, I'd have to take Wednesday off and then ride Thursday. Then I'd have to take Friday off and try and ride on the weekend, because my knee couldn't cope with the workload. Like I remember the first time I tried to ride, like usually preseason for me or whenever, like, or even just when I'm healthy, like I can ride 3 days in a row and feel fine. You know what I mean? Like I'm obviously cooked, but I can do it, you know? So the first week that I got back on the bike, I tried to ride 2 days in a row and just could not even, my knee just couldn't handle it. Like couldn't fucking do anything. I got to the point where I'd jump a big jump, land, and half cave on one side because I just couldn't, you know? Anyway, yeah, I've gotten through the first 5 rounds. It's been rough, but I've gotten through it and had a few problems and issues. I've had one bike malfunction, but that was out of anyone's hand. But yeah, now, like as Jesse said, like we've just been, me especially and himself, like I've been using this as pre-season, like full grinding. And it's been good, and I feel way better. Like it's just like a confidence thing too. Like for me now, my head is at a different place than when I went into the season, because I remember I'd rock up to the races and I'd be like, fuck, I hope I can just like top 5, like I'll be happy with top 5.
You were already beat. Like, you were just
not ready.
Defeat.
I was not ready, but now I'm like,
and the dude's a good man. Like look at how good Wilson done. Like he's got a top 10, you know, in like the hardest series going in a lights bike. So
man, and like
the level's good here.
And yeah, I say this all the time, and people probably think I'm crazy when I say this, but you know, if you bring any of the lights guys over here, you know, even if you bring one of the top 5 out of the AMA, the lights guys, if you bring them over here, they would have a hard time beating these guys.
Yeah.
Like if you bring, even if Hunter come back here, like, you know, Hunter's good and everything, but it's beating these guys like on their tracks. He would have a tough time. Like these guys are good.
Well, you look at Matty, you know, like it's not like Matty just automatically comes back and smokes everyone.
Yeah, that's right.
Supercross, I think, is a different story.
Yeah, Supercross is definitely different.
But you guys don't get to ride real Supercross,
and those guys ride it. They're
flipped on us. Like we go to a motocross track and that's our thing. We go to a Supercross track and it's like, you know, we're still learning, like, you know, still learning, getting better at that, where they turn up to a Supercross track and they're like fucking
done. It's
they're like they're there. They know what's going on.
3 laps they're doing every section.
Yeah, they're riding Supercross 8 months of the year. We're riding motocross. No, we're riding Supercross 2 months of the year, 3 maybe max. So, but yeah, that's just why they're so good at Supercross, and we're probably better at motocross. Oh, not better, but like motocross is our thing.
Yeah, the time. So. Yeah. Well, good luck for the rest of the season, boys. Thanks heaps for making the drive up to do it.
Thanks for having us on.
A good time.
No, thanks for having us. Bit of shit talk. So it's good.
Good bench race for a
bit of banter.
Yeah, a little bit of banter. Right. Oh, fucking makes me think of Love Island.
Connections, that.
I just don't have banter with him. All right, yeah. Well, thanks very much for coming. Thanks to our sponsors, the homies at MX Store. Oh, didn't drink my beer. Still a little bit early, and I might train later. I always got one there. Just in case, like, you know,
the option is always there.
The option is there for beer. But yeah, thanks to the guys at MX Store. Thanks to the guys at Rival Inc. Working on a new Gypsy Tales kit that people are going to be able to buy online, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm going to be decking out our Screaming Eagle for the Day in the Dirt. Thank you to the guys at Nobby Underwear from the Sunny Coast.
Nice.
We've got a bit of Nobby love here. And thank you to the guys at Boost Mobile. So yeah, you know where everything's at for that. It's all in the show notes and stuff. So appreciate these boys coming. I'll be following what you guys are doing at the next round. Fucking gimpy. So yeah, hopefully the boys can both put it on the box.
Win. A box would be good for me. Yeah,
box and a win.
I always like box.
Yeah, box is always a good option. So you can say whatever you want on this podcast.
That's
in case you haven't noticed.
Sick.
There's no one here you can't really get in trouble here unless someone fucking has a problem, and then it's your problem.
Team manager rings us and going off.
It's all right. I don't have a team manager. I'm my team manager.
Tell Gav to text me. You still ride for Serco, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell Gav to text me. Shout out to Gav. Righto, cheers. Cheers for coming, and thanks everyone for listening. It was good. Like, there was some cool shit in there to talk about with just different insight that you boys have. So yeah, hopefully everyone enjoyed it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Cheers, boys.